What's up, guys? How y'all doing tonight? I'm Tommy Fierro. Thank you all for coming out today. We were Rocky's question and answer session. These guys will be up on the panel until 12:45 answering your questions. Bobby's got to skip out about 12:30 because he has a book signing. So for the next hour and 45 minutes, these guys are yours. Ask them whatever you want. And I'm going to hand it over to the host of the Q&As of FanSlam, Bill Apter. How you doing, everybody?
Excuse me, Bill. I got it. He's going. What are you going? 12:45. I got him out of here 12:44. So it'll be all right.
You'll get this down. He's going to be out here 12:44. You all know these people up here from Legends of WrestleMania #1, and let me introduce everybody right now. Sitting right over here, Playboy Bundy Rose. Let's do it. The man known as the Hammer. The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Hey.
And sitting next to the mouth is the brain, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Tonight.
Tonight.
If you don't know how to do the job, I'm going in the Hall of Fame. Tonight I'm going in the Hall of Fame. All this guy does is write for wrestling magazines. Now we don't know who I am.
Tonight.
You're a disgrace, Apter. He said tonight 5 times.
5 times.
What, you gonna miss
That's
it?
it. That's as far as you know. It's all right. It's all right.
Then Bill Apter, he's lost for an answer when you say hello.
What'd you say?
You're lost for an answer when you say hello.
What'd you say?
You got the brain of a dehydrated BB. Put it in the pigeon and fly backwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, S.D. Jones.
Hey.
And now the manager, the man who stole my voice many years ago, the manager of champions. He knows it all. He says it all. You can't keep him quiet. The Captain Lou Albano.
Hey. Notice I'm clapping for myself.
And ladies and gentlemen, King Kong.
Thank you. Salute. Big build-up.
Okay, let's start off. Captain Lou, first of all, people that want to know, how did you lose so much weight?
First of all, well, I had open heart surgery. We're talking legit. I had 3 valves and a pacemaker put in. And give you a little scoop. I went to Yale to have it done because my brother-in-law works up there, and I figured I'd be up there. 3 valves, a pacemaker, 10 days in Yale. Now the bill comes. This is only 2 years ago. How much you think?
$50,000.
$1.
$197,000.
Yep.
I said, you're going to be kidding. I'm on Medicare because I'm over 65. I was 71 at the time. I'll be 73 this year. And I said, you got to be kidding. I said, there was a young nurse in there. I said, give her a raise. He said, give her a raise? Did you check your bill? Now, I would have got caught. 80% is paid by Medicare, but I would have got caught with about 40 grand out of my pocket. Lucky I got AARP for me and my wife, a supplement. I paid $268 a month, picked up the rest. I walked out a $100 bill. Out of $197,000, $200,000. Today, if you're broke, forget about it. If you're flat broke, you're better off. They can't leave you in the street. If you got a few dollars, they clean you out and then throw you out. Okay?
Captain Lou Albano. Thank you, Captain.
I know who I am.
I know who you are, too. First question here. Hands up for any questions?
Don't be shy.
Gentleman back there, do you have a question? He's turning around.
Let's go.
Questions?
You can tell
Questions
me
here? Yes, stand up.
Just wondering, when WrestleMania was first thought up by Vince McMahon, were you all skeptical about the idea, or were you all think it was going to be positive?
Buddy?
Personally, it was a gamble for him. It was a make or break thing, but he made it, and all I could say is I was just happy to be a part of it, and I was just ready to count my paycheck at the end of the day. And I got nothing but positive things to say about it, and as we all know, we're at WrestleMania 20 tomorrow.
They said WrestleMania, yes, Bobby Heenan. We're stuck on you.
I gotta be out of here at 12:30, you know. I'll come to you.
None of these work.
There you go.
Hello. When he first had his idea about WrestleMania, using Mr. T and Muhammad Ali and who?
Liberace.
You want to do it? And Liberace and all the stars. Myself and Arnold Sloan and a couple of guys have been in the business a while. And we started thinking, this guy's turning into vaudeville. This is going to be like, it's going to be a circus. People, they're going to laugh at us. You know, we haven't got to dress like a duck, but they're going to laugh at us, right? But then I was out that night at the Garden, and I looked around, I saw Dick Clark and Cyndi Lauper, and I saw Spike Lee, and the place is packed. New York Daily News, pictures, headlines. This guy's got his hand on something. But I was skeptical of it, because there was never anything like that done in the business before.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Jimmy Hart. This will reach you.
Well, I was really excited about it because coming from Memphis, Tennessee, our office at the time was probably in Jerry Lawler's bedroom or kitchen, whatever we had to come up with back then. So when I got the phone call from Vince, it was feet don't fail me now, and I went straight to New York, which was a thrill for me because I had 2 matches on the first WrestleMania. King Kong Bundy, who I managed, who went up against S.D. Jones, and of course S.D. Jones had 110-degree fever that night, right S.D.?
More than that.
So I think he slipped over about 9 or 10 seconds. What was it, Bundy? 9 or 10?
I carried him.
He carried it. And then, of course, Greg the Hammer Valentine, who was the Intercontinental Champion at that time, against Tito Santana.
Junkyard Dog.
Get it
Tito
right,
ran
Jimmy.
Wait a minute.
Put that thing down, Jimmy. It's humiliating.
You don't even know what I was talking about.
Jesus
Tito.
Christ.
Boy, what's his guy's name?
We had
Is
the
he
angle
drunk?
going, but Tito ran in.
S, is he drunk?
Reversed the decision.
Wow, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart, have you been
Oh
drinking?
my God! You know what? I've been
Drinking?
drunk after all these years.
Are you drinking or what?
You know what? I'm glad he just saved me because tonight I was going to do that in my speech, bringing Greg into the Hall of Fame tonight. So
Why
thank
don't
you
they do it in the
guys.
front here? Why'd you gotta get pull the mic around the back?
But to make a long story short, whoever we fought that night, but he just informed me Tito did interfere in the match, right, Greg?
Right.
Well, good. I thought I had part of it right. But after 20 years, I'm glad to remember anything. But it was a thrill for me to have Bundy on the first of WrestleMania and Greg on the WrestleMania, no matter who they fought. So, like I said before, coming from Memphis with our office, like I said, in Jerry Lawler's bathroom at the time, it was a thrill for me.
All right, get the hook.
S.D.
Said enough.
You know, one of the things that night, Bundy and I didn't want to do it. You know, I'll be honest, I didn't want to do it.
Why didn't you want to do it?
The first WrestleMania, 9 seconds. They told me already what's going to happen to me. We all know that it's a show. Everybody knows it's a show.
Whoa. That's
We know.
I didn't know that.
Come on,
It's all
bro.
a show. You know it's a show, y'all.
They used to beat me. I thought it was legit.
And I sat in the corner and I told myself,
Remember,
go
Tito
on,
came
SD,
in
go
and
do what you
slipped.
have to do.
They put
Bundy
Junkyard Dog
was the
in there
man.
because they wanted to
Then.
see the angle out.
Andre the Giant was the man. We wanted somebody to work with Andre, honestly. So I sat there and I thought it over. Then McMahon came to me and Pat Patterson came to me and they told me the same story I'm saying there. We need a guy for the big guy. I said, I'll do it. I said, you know what? They say about 15 a minute. I said, you know what? Let him destroy me. And I went inside and he could have done worse. But I know the man, you know, I had my fair
You had
first
no
match with him
choice. You would have beat the
in
shit out of
Pennsylvania.
him.
Yeah, so I went inside, I did my job, and everybody laughed at me and everything, but you know what? I made a big payday.
He made twice as much as I did.
The laughter. Look out, because here comes George Napolitano. He'll say your running mate right on the floor. Oh, boy.
Like parasites are everywhere, aren't they?
Oh, they're everywhere you go.
I just want to add something to what SD said. You know, without the SD Joneses, without the Paul Perchmans, when we put these wrestlers over to make them on top, we needed wrestlers to get the other guys over, and without them, there wouldn't be us. So we needed everybody to help everybody as a family to make a
you
motion
think so?
work.
Maybe
without him,
And
there
that's
wouldn't
the
be
bottom line.
Buddy, I'll tell you the truth. You'd look great if you just dye your hair a little color. Get a little color to your hair.
Hey, hides the
Totally
gray.
right.
But really,
It's
SD
natural,
Jones,
but it don't look
SD
right.
Jones, you just made it better so we could all make more money for all of us. And you had one of the longest runs here in the WWF.
Bundy, do you want to answer this discussion?
I think we belabored this question. Let's move on to another
Okay,
one.
next question. Next question. Right here, sir. Stand up.
That's true.
Nice and loud.
This one's for Greg the Hammer Valentine. He had a lot of good matches with Ric Flair.
Wait, he's taking a test at the moment. There's no time limit on it.
He had a lot of good matches with, like I say, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Tito Santana. Some of the tag matches with him and Beefcake.
Okay.
Incredible. Which one sticks in your head the most?
The
Arcade dog.
Got nothing up there to stick.
biggest match of your career. You remember the best.
Gee,
First pay-per-view.
The match I had with S.D. Jones.
Speak up, Greg, you can't hear you.
Well, since we're talking about WWE, you know, Piper, and of course, when we did the dog collar match, everybody talks about that. But I enjoyed my matches with Tito Santana probably more than any of them.
They were great.
You know, because we just had a great chemistry, and Jimmy was my manager. So that's really the era I've got to mention the matches that Beefcake and myself had against the Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah. What about Ric Flair? A lot of fans have said, you know, he should hang it up at this point. You know, he's been around forever. What's your feeling? You watch Ric Flair, he's still a legend, but...
Well, they say I should hang it up too. You know, it's how you feel, you know, and for Rick, I'm sure, just like myself, of course, we're career guys, but more than that, it's a passion, and it's kind of hard to give your passion up.
Plus the fact that Rick is only, what is he, 37 years old? Why should he give it up?
36. Next question. Next question. Back there. Stand up. Nice and loud so we can hear you.
How you doing? This is for Bundy, Heenan, and Hart. Is there any explanation as to why you started off with Jimmy and then worked your way into Bobby Heenan as your manager?
Vince McMahon.
Is there a reasoning behind it?
They never tell us. You don't tell the inmates, you just feed them.
Next question. That young lady. Stand up.
This is directly to Jimmy Hart. How did it feel to manage Hulk Hogan?
How did it feel to manage Hulk Hogan?
Well, it was great back in Memphis, Tennessee, originally, when I first got into the business in Memphis. Hulk was down there as Terry Bollea, so I had met him down there anyhow. I had a feud going on with Jerry Lawler after Jerry Lawler had broken his leg in a football accident, so we shot an angle where I'd start bringing different talent in each week when Lawler came back. And so one of the people I brought back at the time was Hulk Hogan at the time, and we became pretty good friends. So 6 years later, when I wound up back in New York, it was great to be back up there. It was great being with Hulk, you know, going overseas and just being in the ring to listen to the people, how much they really loved him at the time, then being part of WCW with him. When they switched him, I was managing there, and we got, I know that was bad. When we had a lot of the fans kind of turned on us back then.
If we had been on TV one more year at WCW, we'd been popping out of corn with Buck Owens and wrestling here.
Right. I know. So, to make a long story short, and to reiterate what Bobby just said too, but after we switched him to the NWO deal over there, they had about a 2-year run, and then of course now he's a fan favorite again. You know, I guess people saw that when he appeared over in Toronto a couple of years ago when he fought The Rock. You know, so it was great.
A lot of people have asked me, and because I know Hulk Hogan, you know Hulk Hogan, he's not at WrestleMania 20. You've talked to him. What's his feeling on this whole thing?
Well, he just had his knee scoped a couple of weeks ago again. And so, also, he's spending a lot of time now. His daughter, Brooke, just signed a deal with Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman was the guy who put together NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears. So, right now, he's kind of devoting everything to her career.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy Hart. Next question. Sir. Stand up, nice and loud.
This one's for Bobby Heenan. Which superstar that you managed did you travel with the most, and who was your favorite that you managed?
Well, I didn't travel with anybody. It was different because I had a different job. So what people don't know is when I was on the road with, like I say, Bundy, and then Bundy would go home and have days off, then I'd go to Baltimore and do prime time with Monsoon. Or then I would go and produce the interviews in Stamford, Connecticut, or I would go and do voiceovers. So I travel a lot by myself. And I think the guy I traveled the most with probably would have been Andre. And the guy I liked the most, it's hard because everybody had different personality. I love Kurt Hennig, John Studd, Blackjack Lanza. I can go on and name them. Bundy was a wonderful guy to travel with, and I never had really a problem with anybody. You travel. You don't pay attention to them because you want to get to the hotel and get a towel and get to the building. But never had any animosity with anybody. They were great guys. I was always around great people.
Did you travel a lot with Nick Bockwinkel? Because you two
Too
were
much.
together. Too much. Can you elaborate on that?
Don't ask Nick. You'd be here till you have to shave again. No, Nick was fun to travel with as long as he slept.
Next question. Yes, sir.
This is to all three managers on the panel, Captain Lou, Bobby the Brain, and Jimmy Hart. You've all managed some of the greatest tag teams of all time. Captain Lou, I know you have
18.
managed 18
18
WWE
tag teams, that's
champions.
right.
What do you guys feel makes a real great tag team, and what do you think is lacking in the WWE's tag divisions today?
Well, first of all, it's timing and coordination, and they've got to respect one another, know when to tag out, tag in, back and forth, and that's what it's all about. Balance, leverage, and, man, put it together.
You're right. Well, a lot of guys don't know how to have a tag match. They'll tag. If SD and I are fighting, I'm choking him. The referee's telling me to break. I tag SD. It's SD's job now, as he gets in, to grab the guy with a hold. Now I take the ref. I turn him, now SD chokes the hell out of him. And it's the easiest thing in the world. You sneak things behind people's back. Nowadays, tag teams, everybody gets in and start pounding. And when a guy, babyface, makes that big hot tag, what's the first thing a heel does? Gloms him. No, you backpedal. You make the people pop. They paid their money. Then you take a couple bumps, a big bump, you drop your knees. Again, you give them 2 comebacks. That's what it is. The name of the business is comeback. That's all it is.
And there's not even tag ropes today.
And my thing was so kind of wild and crazy anyhow because I had so many different teams. When I had Rhythm and Blues, which was Honky and Greg, they were very colorful. Greg always liked to tell a story, take his time, paint a picture, and make sure that the fans that were watching, everything was believable. And then, of course, I had Earthquake and Typhoon, the Rougeau brothers, the Hart Foundation, the Nasty Boys, Money Incorporated, which was the $1 Million Man, and Erwin R. Shyster. So I had so many different teams that everybody was really kind of different, but I had fun with all of them.
Who is your favorite tag team of all time?
Demolition, actually.
Demolition. Okay, next
I'm
question.
a WWF guy, so
Sure.
that's what I
Nice and loud, please.
For each one of you guys on the panel, what was the most memorable part of your history in your career?
King Kong Bundy, let's start with you. Most memorable part of your career.
The most memorable part?
Yeah.
There's so many I couldn't list just 1 or 2 or 3. No, I'm just joking. I guess it'd have to be the WrestleManias. I was in WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, and WrestleMania 11. And they were always something special, you know. There's always the publicity and all the hype and doing a couple press conferences and things like that. So that would have been the highlight for me.
Okay, Captain Lou.
Well, WrestleMania, I was in there with Cyndi Lauper, and we went in and hyped it up a little bit, and being with Cyndi, involved with her. In fact, I emceed her a little while ago. She opened for Cher and Tina Turner, and I knew Tina for years, and I knew Cher, and did the whole bit. And I would say that's one of the top things for me, handling Cyndi.
S.D. Jones.
Sure ain't the one with Bundy. My best, the best time in my life, I should say. I was in Japan. I wrestled against Inoki, Fujinami, and Hulk Hogan, and it was me, Abdul the Butcher, and Bad News Alan Brown. And I was 6 weeks there with them, and we just had a ball with them. That's
Best time of your life.
my time.
Bobby Heenan.
I've never had a good time.
There's a young lady outside. No, sorry.
No, I say that, and the highlight of my career in the ring would have had to been WrestleMania 3 with Andre and Hogan in front of 93,000 people.
At the Silver Dome.
Yeah.
You don't have to
But
say where it is. He knows what he's doing. Keep giving him a chance.
You guys want to talk? I think. Ready? I think the highlight was WrestleMania 3, probably because of 93,000 people, and to be in the ring with Hogan and Andre and myself, it was just something special. But tonight is going to be more special, I believe, because I'm going in the Hall of Fame, and my daughter's there. And I wish Monsoon could be there. That's what I mean.
Well, mine was every WrestleMania that I appeared in. You know, WrestleMania 1 through WrestleMania 9. All of them were special to me. I'd always go out 2 or 3 times on the shows, and I had a great time with all the guys I was with.
Okay. Greg Valentine.
Well, mine's a little different because it's first time. I guess it'd be the first time I wrestled in Madison Square Garden in 1979 against Bob Backlund and wrestled 1 hour Broadway. And I didn't even, I hadn't even wrestled anywhere else. They just had put me on 4 months on television, breaking people's legs with a figure 4 leg lock. And to go out there with 30,000 plus fans, first time ever, that's really was a thrill, and it was the start of my really big career.
We all remember the feud with Chief J. Strongbow that went on forever as well. Playboy Buddy Rose?
Yeah, my most, I could talk about it. My most memorable is just my whole career, just seeing the world on somebody else's dime and being able to live in the different cultures, but there's no place like the United States, and becoming friends with a lot of professional wrestlers that are personal friends of mine now, that are our family and great acquaintances. And I just, God bless Vern Gagne and Billy Robinson for putting us through the toughest camp I ever went through in my life. And I just say, just seeing the world on somebody else's dime, a lot of people would never be able to do that. I appreciated that.
Gentleman up front here. Tyree, stand up, please.
This question is for Bundy.
Yes.
You had your 4 WrestleMania matches were very different. What was it like in the main event of WrestleMania 2 against Hogan, and then coming back years later in a sub-main event match against Undertaker? What was the difference in those
Well, the biggest difference I had was between 2 and 3 when I came back against Hogan, and then in 3 I came back with a couple of midgets against Hillbilly Jim. Everybody, when I first heard that, I thought, like SD said, you do whatever they tell you to do, you just do it. But I kind of thought, this is really a little silly. But then I actually got on a lot of local sports stations Hall of Shames for slamming the midget. I was a little hard on the Beaver that night. And he's no longer with us. I hope it's not close to that beating. But, the big difference, when I wrestled The Undertaker in WrestleMania 11, there wasn't much emphasis put on it at all. It was like pretty far down the card. So I don't even think I did a promo. I didn't do a single promo for it, which is a little odd for, when you're wrestling one of the top guys there. So the big difference was just there wasn't near as much focus on the match as there was the other one.
Okay, next question.
My question to you, King Kong Bundy. What was it like feuding with Andre the Giant for all those years, and then at the first annual Survivor Series you ended up being his tag team partner?
Yeah, well, we feuded a long time. At first, I was lucky enough to work with Andre. When I had left the WWF, I started there in the very beginning, and then I went to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I wound up in Dallas, Texas. And at that time, Andre would come around, with all the territories and, basically knock off the top heel, He wouldn't beat you, but like everybody knew when Andre came to town, you were going to take an ass kicking. So they'd see the heel, beat up pretty good. In regard to working with, it's a lot better to work with him than against him. I would definitely say that, believe me, because the Giant was a nice man, but he had his days sometimes, and if he wasn't in the best of moods, you might have a rough night out there.
You mentioned Andre sometimes had his days. Can any of you tell us one classic story about it, some time you spent with Andre on the road?
Well, I can tell you one thing about Andre. He came up above to Carmel, New York. There's a bowling alley there called the Briar Patch. He and Skolin got done early and came down. It was 10 minutes to 10. They were watching him. He'd say, "Bartender, please, 6 Budweiser." They put 6 in front, no glass. Well, between 10 minutes to 10, and this is a fact, till 10 minutes after 2, so that's 4 hours and 20 minutes or whatever, he drank 108 bottles of Budweiser. And he walked out, got in the car, Skolin drove him. He was fine, and not bombed or nothing. Oh, he was a big super giant superhero.
Any other Andre stories?
I saw him one time in Australia when he was in a bad mood. And he wrestled, I'm not going to call the name because the guy might be here later. And he looked at me and said, "Look at this chest. It looks like a red potato." So I went into the back room. When he's in a bad mood, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Very bad mood.
Tuesday,
Would you stand up, please?
Yeah, I'm Alfonso Castillo from Tuesday. I wanted to ask Greg and Bob your feelings of the Hall of Fame tonight, your feelings of being inducted. Is this something you think of as a real big deal?
Yeah, it is a real big deal. The guys in the NFL don't give a damn about the guys in Cooperstown. The guys in Cooperstown don't care about the guys in Canton. But the wrestling fans and the wrestlers care about this. And when the boys tell you that they don't care about it, then they're losers. They're not really one of the boys. This is an honor to sit here in front of people that are paying $200 a ticket tonight to see a spectacular put on like this. And sure, there's Pete Rose and the people might laugh at, and things like that. Hey, it's entertainment. That's what it is. And to be honored and recognized for something like that by your peers, to me is something. And I appreciate it. And like I said, I just wish Monsoon could be there to induct me into it. But that would mean something to me.
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel the same way. It's a great honor, and you know, I've been in the business 34 long years, and it's went by just like that, and it's my whole life, and 16 to 17 years was spent right here in the WWF, WWE, and to be honored by this organization is a real thrill.
Jimmy Hart, you had an Andre story you wanted to?
I had
You had one?
Well, it's one of the first times I went to Japan. It was 1976, and I met Andre on the flight going over there with Arnold Skolin, and they brought me up to first class. But when we finally got to Japan, took me out to dinner that night, and we were trying to get back in a taxi, and nobody would take Andre because he was so big. So one of the Japanese guys got one of the taxi drivers got in the cab and started to pull away, and Andre reached down and lift the taxi up, and the wheels were just spinning on the back. Never forget that.
Yes, this to all the wrestlers. What was your greatest moment in wrestling?
Greatest moment or greatest opponent?
Match.
Moment.
Greatest match
Of all time.
Buddy Rose, let's start with you.
I just say my run ahead in the Pacific Northwest with Roddy Piper, we sold out every time, and Don Owens, God rest his soul, he's gone, but he said that we set all the records in the Pacific Northwest, and that was my most memorable run in the Pacific Northwest, and teaming with Jesse Ventura when I first got there.
Greg?
Oh, wow, there's so many of them, but once again, I have to just mention the feud that I had with Tito. That was my favorite.
Mine, everything I've done in my life, I've been grateful and thankful for, but the stuff I did in Memphis with Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman, I mean, that has been so much fun for me. Thank you. I was so happy to be a part of that, but we really didn't realize how big that was until like 2 or 3 years ago when they made the movie on Andy.
Oh,
you know, he was just
definitely.
coming in from Taxi up there, and we were thankful to have him on the show with us, but we did about a 1.5 year run with that whole deal, so I think that's it for me.
Bobby Heenan.
Well, mine had to be coming to the WWF, because in the AWA, it was a wrestling territory like other territories. You drove to the towns or you flew, and you wrestled in armories or high schools or the auditoriums. But there's something about going to New York, you know, it's just there's a different feeling in the building, in the garden. There's a different feeling among the guys that were in the territories. First time I met my friend SD here, and the guys in the territory were up more. They were with it more. Guys in other territories were tired and they were in the cars all the time. And New York gave you some kind of an energy, and it was just different going to the garden and going out afterwards and going flying to this town. And the people looked at you differently in those days. You signed autographs at airports. Nobody asked you, hey, is it all fake? They said, what a great show you put on. We enjoyed you last night. And that, it made you feel good. You were no longer like a half step behind roller derby. Now you were a major clown. Your nose really lit up now.
It was in all the territories, including Vern Gagne's territory, Jim Crockett's territory. It was always like the whole big deal was to get to New York.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
to New York.
You're right.
So, SD Jones.
My biggest match was with Tony Atlas and I against Fuji and Scioto in Philadelphia for the championship.
Managed by Captain Lou Albano.
That was my biggest.
Captain?
The worst time I've ever had was when I, in the dressing room, looked at Bruno Sammartino, and Bruno was losing his hair, and he got a piece, and I said, Bruno, you got a hell of a head of hair, you look great. And he just looked at me, didn't know me that well then, and I had to wrestle him that weekend in the garden. He beat the living daylights out of me, beat the hell out of me. I'll tell you the truth, it was the worst thing I ever made, worst mistake I ever made.
Bruno had a rug.
Bruno, yeah, Bruno had a rug. Please.
I thought it was a chip.
His head was cleaner than yours. Guy told Bruno, guy said to Bruno, shave your head, Trojan, put a Trojan over your head, you can go as a lady in here, I don't want to say. Another funny thing,
Yes.
when you talk about different people and stuff that we've met in the business, years ago, a little guy would show up at Newark Ombre. Captain Lou, get me in, I got no money. I said, come on, kid, I'd get him in. We go across to Michael's down the street for a few drinks. What do you do for a living, kid? He said, I'm dating an actress. I want to be an actor. No one uses me. I'm a janitor at Broad Street in Newark, and I'm a hairdresser. Stupid, then. The guy's about this short. I said, how many jobs you got? He said, I said, by the way, how do you cut hair that short? Guy went through the wall. You big, fat piece of garbage. I weighed 360, 70 pounds. Danny DeVito. Nobody knew him as Little Louie in Taxi. Nobody knew nothing. A few years later, I got a call. He said, hey, moron, who's this? He said, Danny DeVito. Come in and read for Brian De Palma. That was Brian De Palma. And he got me a part in the picture, Wise Guys. I was Frankie the Fixer.
Good
He got me
movie.
Body Slam, Complex World. I got another one now I'm doing for him. And he married Rhea Perlman, Carla from Cheers. Today, he's the big boss, Danny DeVito.
He's the man.
So you never know who you're messing with.
Thank you, Captain. King Kong Bundy.
I think my match when I wrestled Fritz Von Erich in Texas Stadium for Fritz's retirement, and there was like 18,000 people there. Which, if you can imagine 18,000 people in Texas Stadium, it looks like it's empty. You know what I mean? But the ring was moved down to one end of the thing, and it was a real thrill going out there because I'd seen it for years watching the Cowboys. You know, they were real hot back then, and to be out there wrestling on that field, and I was pretty young then. You know, it was a real thrill, even though I was working with Fritz and. I knew that was going to be.
Hey, don't put yourself down on that. 18,000 people in those days was one hell of a house.
Yeah, it was a great house. Yeah, you heard about it.
You could build
Yeah.
And another thing, don't say you were pretty young then. You're still a young kid. I got underwear. I got underwear older than him.
When he's right, he's right. The man's right.
Guy's a baby.
Yeah, I did have the claw on him several times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check. This gentleman over here.
In each of your opinions, who's the greatest wrestler of all time?
Greatest wrestler of all time other than yourself.
Sky Lolo.
My personal, I was with him in 82, 83 in New York, and I watched him every night, and I really thought he was one of the best, is Bob Orton Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Orton Jr. Attention to detail all the way.
Barbara Brandy.
No flair,
Great
no
Valentine.
charisma. Not a shred.
I have to mention my dad, Johnny Valentine.
Jimmy Hart.
Well, I only saw this guy on tapes because I collect a lot of wrestling tapes, but I saw the original Gorgeous George on some of the tapes he had. I thought he was fabulous. I mean, really good.
Bobby?
How did you judge a great worker?
Yeah.
A Ray Stevens,
Oh, yeah.
a Pat Patterson, technically was probably the best hand there ever was in the business. But who turned people's head more? Who put more people in the seats? Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan.
There's been no one greater for this business than Hulk Hogan.
Amen.
There's a lot of people that don't like him, and there's a lot of people that do like him. I've always liked him. We never had a feud. That was just part of the business. When I was sick with cancer, my writer, Steve Anderson, called him and asked him if he would do the foreword for my book. Didn't ask for a dime. He said yes. I called him after it came out. I thanked him for it. It's no problem. We talked. But when you see a man, I saw grown people cry when Hulk Hogan was getting beat up. I saw people shaking when he was ripping that T-shirt. I'd never seen another athlete or entertainer like that in my life, except maybe Elvis.
You know, two people made the business what it is today, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. I don't
That's
know
right.
if Either one of them could have done it without you.
Yeah, they could have. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Vince is creative enough to have found another Hogan. But at that time, they were perfect for each other.
Right.
And if Hogan wasn't good at what he did, he would have fallen off the side. Hogan is still the #1 attraction in this country today. He walks through an airport, you'll look at him before you look at anybody else on any other plateau of life.
What about me? What do you mean? Look, what about me?
Okay, if you go through the Greyhound station, you could run into
Very good, Bobby, very good.
I just Bobby's right about Hulk Hogan. I mean, and another thing about Hulk Hogan, we had like an A team out there, a B squad and a C squad, and everybody wanted to be on Hulk Hogan's card because you knew it was going to be a sellout, and you knew you were going to make the most money if you were with Hulk Hogan.
And plus, all you blonde guys keep together. Bobby Heenan, you, Hulk Hogan. Sure, all you bleach blondes.
Was there another guy, had Hogan not been there, had he fallen off, was there another guy in the roster at that time
I think.
that you saw and would have gone like, Vince, this is the guy. Who was it?
Paul Orndorff.
Paul Orndorff.
He had the body, he had the Mr. Wonderful, he had a rugged look like a man.
That was a good one.
And he had the robes,
Never a good
and he had everything, and
Didn't want to make
he
nobody else
could
look
work.
Right.
And Paul Orndorff, I can't think who else would have been there. Maybe Andre, but he wanted a different look. Yeah, he was an attraction. But Orndorff, I tell you who before Hogan probably would have done it had it been that was Superstar Graham.
Well,
Yeah.
Hogan's
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
It was because of Superstar Billy Graham that Hulk Hogan
Wayne Coleman
saw
was his
him.
name.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wayne Coleman.
Wayne
And
Coleman.
still is his name, actually. SD Jones.
Oh.
Your turn.
Wake up when you get falling asleep.
Are we talking about guys who can draw money? Or are we talking about guys
Well,
who
who's the guy? Who's the guy?
My
that-
man is
who's the guy that-
Red Bastien.
Red Bastien.
You all want to see a wrestler?
That's
Sit
right.
down and watch
He's a
Red
great
Bastien. That was my idol, all the way, all
How
the way.
about Louis Bastien, Louis Klein? Yeah, Red Bastien, half brother.
Captain Lou, what about you?
I'd have to say, going way back again, there was what Bobby put it on the head when he mentioned Gorgeous George. I think Bobby said that, or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Hart. Gorgeous George was definitely, his name was George Wagner, I believe.
Yes.
And he was something exceptional. He came out at that time, there was nothing like it. And then later on, I would have to say Argentina Rocca was a big star in Madison Square Garden. He sold out with the drop kick and the whole bit. He and Miguel Perez. There were so many greats, I would say. In fact, there was nothing wrong with S.D. Jones and Bobby Heenan and King Kong Bundy and
Thank you.
Greg. Look at Greg. Stop picking your nose. What the hell are you doing? The guy's picking his nose in public. Oh, and what about? Don't forget about down the end. He's getting pissed off. All right, I mentioned you too.
All right.
I'm not saying your name again.
But you know, fundamentally in the ring, this one man could have been a great champion, but he just liked to do silly things. But he was a great worker. Was Dick Murdoch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A great worker.
He was
and
great.
probably the guy that set the standards for everybody was Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, Buddy Rogers.
Yeah.
Another facet of
Camden, New
revolutionizing
Jersey.
the business. Started with Gorgeous George. Buddy Rogers was the next wave.
That's right.
You know, Gorgeous George wasn't supposed to be Gorgeous George.
What was he supposed to be?
There was another guy going to L.A. to be Gorgeous George, and he broke his leg in Oklahoma. Jody Hamilton told me this.
Right.
And they were stuck. They'd advertised. So they found this guy wrestling around there, George Wagner. They made him Gorgeous George. That's how he got his break.
Okay. I didn't know that. King Kong Bundy.
Yeah. I mean, all the great guys like, Ric Flair and Steamboat, I mean, all the great technical guys. Yeah, I mean, they're really, I mean, there's always something special what they can do. But I agree with Bobby for just, creating excitement and putting people in the seats. Hulk Hogan would have to be the best.
Absolutely.
Or Salvatore Belamo.
Salvatore Belamo, yes.
Oh, boy.
He has a Roman gimmick. Yeah, you've seen
He's a legend in the minds and the hearts of everyone.
Do we forget Francesco Flores in that era?
Yeah, there you go.
Gentleman over there.
To the whole panel, what would be a dream match for you guys? Like past or present? Like who would you like to be paired up? Who would you like to see?
With them actually being in the match, or
No,
any
just in
match,
general.
any dream match?
Any
Past to present, dream match that you thought should have happened, Robbie?
That I would like to be in?
No, or something you'd like to have seen.
I would like to have wrestled Buddy Rogers in his career at the beginning, because that way I'd be young then.
Okay.
No, the match I'd like to see Buddy Rogers and Hogan.
Buddy Rogers against Hulk Hogan.
I'd like to see Skylo Low against Andre the Giant.
Buddy?
Or Fuzzy Cupid.
I just got to just give you my childhood when I was growing up. At 18, 19, I was watching Blackjack Lanza, and Bobby Heenan was his manager. He was my idol, and God, if that didn't get me hooked on wrestling, and thanks to those guys, if I didn't get hooked from them, I might not have ever been in it. So I want to thank Bobby Heenan and Blackjack Lanza.
What about a dream match, though?
Man, there's so many of them. Give me a little time to think on it. There's just so many.
We'll come back to you. Greg Valentine?
The British Bulldogs against the Sicilians.
My partner who passed away, like Tony Altamori that passed away, was a great guy, was a good wrestler, and real good guy.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of fun together.
Buddy Rose has come up with his dream match.
Yeah, Vern Gagne against Vince McMahon.
Referee by Jim Crockett.
How about Vince McMahon against Phil Zacco? Phil Zacco was.
Philadelphia,
Do you want to
yeah.
explain who Phil Zacco was?
Little guy about that big, he come in, hey,
Little
this kid,
cigar
you're
man.
doing this kid, you don't know what the hell he was talking about. That guy was a little bit short, little son of a bitch. Oh, excuse me. Good person. He was good person. He was
King Kong Bundy, dream match. Either
I
for you or a match you would like to attend.
I don't know, really. Valentine Rose, brawl for it all, right here and now. That's what I'd like to see.
Let me see it now.
I'd like to see Jack
We don't have a
Briscoe
ring.
And Nick Baldwin again.
Nick Bockwinkel
and
Jack
Jack
Briscoe.
Briscoe.
Jack Briscoe.
I'd love to see that.
The greatest match I ever saw,
I'd love to see that.
I don't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry, man.
The greatest match I ever saw was in St. Louis at the Key Auditorium with Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk Jr. 1 hour to a draw.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something, I hate broadways. Because I was watching the Notre Dame Michigan State game once. It was 10-10 tie. I was mad. A tie doesn't settle nothing for me. It just makes me mad because I'm bored.
Right.
But to watch this match, the boys were standing out there, and they both were babyface and they both were heels. When one took over, the people for the other one to come back. But it was a different kind of a match. It was wrestling and punching, kicking a little bit. But they didn't sneak nothing. They were just, it was great. And not one person left. And the boys stayed till it was over to watch it.
Yeah, but Bobby, wait a minute. Why do you say you hate Broadways? I mean, there's nothing wrong with Broadway in New York. I mean, they got all the theaters, everything else. You hate Broadway.
7th Avenue is nice.
Yeah, he said he hates Broadway.
I hate to go to Broadway.
Oh, I go there all the time, walk up and down the street. They give me quarters, nickels, dimes. I take anything.
People today say a 60-minute match today, wrestling with holes and a good scientific wrestling match won't hold people's attention anymore today. What do you all feel about that?
I think if the guy knows how to work, you can do it. If you know how to work and you keep the people involved in the match, don't do stupid things. Don't beat the heck out of a guy in front of the referee. You're putting heat on the referee. He don't draw you a dime. You want heat on yourself. You want the comeback so your baby face explodes and the people get their money's worth. You don't do things in front of the people. You turn the crowd into the show. When they start yelling, you say, don't call me that. Don't call me Weasel. Hey, he pulled his hair. Hey, shut up. You make them part of it. It's so easy to work. You can work 2 hours if you know how to work.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
Greg, you had many 1-hour matches against Ric Flair and other people. Do you think the fans today could sit for a 1-hour match?
Well, it's all about re-educating the people, and they went so far to the left with the ECW matches and all that crazy stuff. I mean, that all has its place in wrestling history. But I think wrestling sells itself, and if the people, I really believe that the people would still enjoy that type of match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Someone hasn't asked one yet. This gentleman right over here.
My question for the Hammers. Your dad was known for his ribs. For you breaking into the business, did that have a backlash on you?
Your father was known for pulling ribs on you.
Oh, yeah.
Was that backlash on your career?
Actually, everybody just kept their eye on me, so I couldn't do anything.
Johnny, your father though was a hell of a drawing card.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you.
Johnny Valentine.
How many years did it take for you to decide whether you were his son, his nephew, his cousin, his brother? So how many years did it take actually before you said, this is my father?
Well, actually, that was all his idea because, he was 45 years old and he was wrestling an hour every night and running 5 miles a day. He was in great shape. And when I came along as his son, back in the 60s and 70s, if you were over 40 years old, they figured you were too old. And he just didn't want anybody to know how old he was. That's the only reason. And when finally I went to Florida, I started as Greg Valentine, his son, because my dad had suffered a plane crash and his career was over. So I did that for him.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Next question, this gentleman over here.
Yeah, this is for the whole panel. Today's wrestling market today, who do you think would be the next Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair for WCW and WA? Who do you think the next person is to transcend the business?
The next superstar to transcend the business.
Well, I think that's The Rock.
Geez, I don't know. I mean, Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's right up there. I mean, he's something special.
He has the look.
What's that? Is somebody laughing? Somebody don't agree with that?
I'll tell you a guy. I see. I tell you a guy I see with a lot of potential, and he just needs to be guided in the right direction. Not that he's going in the wrong direction, but I mean he's young yet. Is Orton?
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, he looks great.
He's got good psychology, and he's got one thing that he needs, and that's youth.
Yeah.
And he's a big kid, and he comes from good genes. So
And he looks good. And
His father, Bobby, his father was a hell of a guy too.
Oh, yeah, I know
Bob
his dad.
Wilson, yeah.
This one will be here.
Yeah, Randy.
Actually, superstar of the future. Who's the next guy? Jimmy Hart. What do you think?
Well, that's a good question.
Jimmy Hart.
No. You know, I watch a little bit of the TV now because we're doing other projects and stuff, and I think there's several people out there, which I'm not going to mention right now, because I think if I do that, as soon as I say something, they're going to wind up disappointing me by getting out of the business or quitting the business, or so I'd rather just kind of keep that to myself. That way, I guess I'll always be right.
It's an easy way to get out of it, Jimmy.
Thank you
Still
very-
didn't answer
very
the damn
political.
question.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Answer that question, please.
Ask me again.
The next superstar, the next Hulk Hogan, the next guy to transcend the business.
Fuzzy Cupid.
The midget Fuzzy Cupid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Keep your eye.
You know, there's somebody out there, though. There's somebody out there.
Yes.
There definitely is somebody out there that's going to, I don't know who it is, but there's someone out there we don't know about right now, but is going to be the next big star.
Pete
It always
Sanchez.
happens.
Pete Sanchez. That's good.
Pete Sanchez.
Johnny Rods. Anyone else have
Johnny
any,
Rods.
a pick in the future?
Why was he
Well,
unpredictable? You knew every time he was going to do
I
it.
think we already have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as big as Hogan as far as wrestling, but with the movies and everything else, and you know, he just he's got to be there. Yeah.
Did any of you think that young Dwayne Johnson would become what he is today?
No.
No, he did a hell of a job. He did that thing in The Mummy too, and I heard he just signed a deal with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger on a $100 million movie. So The Rock has got that. They're holding him to his contract. He's filming it with Vince McMahon. But The Rock is a very talented individual. Played ball for Miami. I knew his father, Rocky Johnson, and his mother was the daughter of the Samoan Peter Maivia, the chief with all the tattoos on. And I'll tell you, The Rock is a very talented individual. Should have brought
And
his
the
name
Rock is a much better actor than Hulk was.
Oh,
man.
no, The Rock's rocking that.
Next question. The gentleman over there.
Yeah, this is for the whole panel.
Nice and loud, please.
What is your opinion of the recent deaths in the business?
Great question.
We're glad it wasn't us. That's about it.
You've lost about 21. You lost Owen Hart came down in the ring and he broke his neck, and people say, "Well, it's wrestling." It's no, he died. Rick Rude, tall, thin, slender guy, and all, boom the ticker. You've lost so many in the last few years. It's you even hate to say. Yeah.
Kurt Hennig.
21 or 20 something.
Kurt Hennig, yeah.
It's stressful and it's a tough job. They can say wrestling is this, wrestling is that, but to me, they're the finest athletes in the world. To get in there night after night, to fly, to fall, you can be crippled in 1 or 2 minutes. I can hardly walk and on. I never was a good wrestler. I stunk. Bruno Sammartino said, become a manager. He said, you can't wrestle for crap. He said, but you're a good bullshit.
He should know.
So I became a manager. Well, he knew.
He should know.
But let me tell you something. You got to be a great athlete to be in. I don't care what they want to say. To me, they're the finest athletes in the world. To night after night after night, do what they do. Put the average guy in there, he'd be dead in a week.
That's why The Rock will never be a big superstar. You know why?
Why?
He would if he sticks to wrestling. But since he's in the movies are going to make him more money and it's easier work. So his mind and his body is going to be geared towards the movies.
Right.
It's natural. If he just devoted his whole time to wrestling, he probably couldn't touch the guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to the death question, Buddy Rose.
And just knock on wood on all of us. You know, the traveling up and down the highway 7 nights a week, 365 days a year. Some of those small planes we flew in, and you know, there were plane crashes. God bless every day that we've gotten, because we're lucky. There were so many close calls, and or the bumps and the crazy things we did in the ring. Knock on wood, just one time off, we could all have been quadriplegics, and you know, we've all been through some tragical things in our life, and just God bless every day that we get, and we're just happy that we're still.
But Bill, I don't think they're talking about deaths in the ring, injuries or plane crashes. I think they're talking about deaths.
Yeah.
From drugs or heart attacks or overdoses.
Yeah, that's true.
I do scotch. And that's it. I never took look, obviously I never did steroids or anything like that. And if someone does do that, that's their business. They're grown people. You can't tell a man, see a man, or hear a man's taking something. This guy's smoking that, this guy's ingesting that. You're a grown man. That's your business. It's sad that a lot of people died. Sure it is, but there's a whole cemetery for a lot of people that died. What are you going to do? It happens. We have friends. We have loved ones in this business. We hate to see it happen too, but you feel bad, but there's nothing you can do. They're humans. They're on their own. They're adults.
Thank you, Bob. Next question. Yes.
This is for Greg and Bobby. First, congratulations on tonight getting
Thank you.
inducted. What do you guys think of like a guy like Bob Backlund not getting in, and then let's be honest, joke like Pete Rose getting in?
Well, Bruno, he declined it, I think, right, Bruno?
Well, Bruno don't want it. Bruno's
So what do you think, a guy like Backlund, he'll title for 6 years, I know it doesn't look like it, but...
No, you're right.
But they're putting Pete Rose in.
But
Yeah, why? No, a guy like Backlund...
I'll tell you what, for Backlund, he declined, did he?
No, I don't believe so. I don't know if he was...
Did they ask him at all? Oh, I don't know anything about that then. But Pete Rose is WWE. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. And Pete Rose has been on 3 pay-per-views, right? WrestleManias.
Yes.
And plus, Pete Rose is in the news now.
Trying to get
in the Hall of Fame. So McMahon, boom, boom, the gears work and it works. You may be insulted by it, but you're going to have to talk to Vince McMahon's banker about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All it is entertainment, man.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Hey, there's guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Gentleman back there. Nice and loud,
This
please.
question is for all of you. Where would you rank the match between Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan?
Where would you rank the match between the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan?
You mean rank it by watching it?
Like on a 1 to 10 scale?
1 to 10 scale.
Okay, let's
You mean
do it.
if they worked again or now with the match they had? What do you mean?
No, the match they had in WrestleMania.
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought the Warrior never looked better.
So 10 being the highest. You give
No, it wasn't a 10. No, it really wasn't a 10. It was an 8.
Okay.
An 8, but you know why it was an 8?
Why?
Because Hogan made 7.5 of it. Hogan carried him the whole night.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior couldn't go out there with anybody and have a match.
Right.
He had great paint, a great body, great music. Once the music stopped, the dance was over.
That was it. He was out of breath.
That's true.
He was out of breath. Anybody else want to answer that question?
He had a great body, the Ultimate Warrior, because he looked after me and he said, Captain Lou, I want to be like you, with a 52-inch waist, 300 pounds. So he took after me. Yeah, I trained him. I put him on eat anything you can, and all you want, just don't swallow it. But that's what he did. Oh yeah.
Next question. This gentleman right here.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. The question is, many of us know the big news lately is that Brock Lesnar has quit World Wrestling Entertainment. Whether or not that's a work or not, it looks like it's the truth. The reason behind his quitting is the travel. He was having a lot of burnout with all the travel, this and that. But it seems like since he entered World Wrestling Entertainment, he's had many things kind of handed right to him in terms of main events, championships. We understand that he's been flying separately on a jet from match to match. As a gentleman who were really out, beating the street, getting from city to city, town to town, state to state, how do you feel about something like that? Someone being in the business for 2 years and walking away from it due to burnout after only 24 months in the business?
Well, that's up to the guy's personality.
Is he a
wants
prima
to do.
donna asking for...
No, he's not. Good.
It just shows you all and shows everybody how tough we all are.
You can get burnt out real easy. I'll explain to you. Some of you people, anybody fly for a living? I don't mean a pilot, but have a job where you have to be in 7 towns? Okay. You go to airports now, you got to be there a couple hours before a flight. You got to take your shoes off. I mean, God bless their checking, they should. You get on the plane, you get off the plane. Then you got to fly for a couple hours. Then you have to go downstairs and wait. You have to wait 20 minutes to get off a plane. Then you have to go downstairs and wait a half hour for a rental car. Then you have to find the hotel and then wait to check in. Then you have to find the building, come back from the building, get up in the morning, drop the car off early. Sometimes your flight's at 6. The place don't open until 6:30. And do it all again the next day. The only reason we continue to do it, for money. We weren't making the money Brock Lesnar's making. That's why he can walk away from it at his young age. If he was making money and needed that income, he'd be sitting in the back on U.S. Air or on the back of Ozark Airlines eating nuts out of a sack like the rest of us. But because he's made money, and I'm not knocking him, if you don't feel like you should do something, don't do it. But he's made enough money where he don't have to do it now. God bless him. We did it because we had to. He don't have to. The only thing I like is when they check you in, they checking you out. And they come with that thing and they go between your legs with that thing up and down.
You like that?
And checking you out. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
They make you laugh. What am I carrying here? I got a pacemaker. You can't go through the line. Step aside. And then the guy goes up and down. He's hitting my joint with the damn... What the hell do you think I am? What's an experiment?
Were you thinking that Brock Lesnar was either a prima donna or a wimp for getting... Because until you walk, a mile in someone else's shoes, it's hard to realize that. And I know where these guys have been, and I could never have done the miles that these guys
You have that.
Well, I have, but not to the extent, you guys were doing it 5 days a week. I was doing it 1 or 2 days a week.
Oh, you were
guys
overworking.
always there, yes.
You know, you understand.
I understand that.
You fly from New York to LA.
Sure.
Wait around for 3 hours. Get on a plane from there to Hawaii. Get there in the morning for them. Get off and get on a plane at 12 o'clock for them. And you wind up in Christchurch, New Zealand, which I did quite a few times. Get off of there and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon there. You wait for another 3 hours, and by the time you get into Sydney, it's 8 o'clock in the morning for them. You're dead.
And you have to get there and you have to perform.
You're dead, man.
Yeah.
I did that a couple of times.
We know we've all had big trips, bad
The
trips.
guy is dead, man. I believe he's dead. He's finished.
One time,
I think so.
Vince had a promotion going to Europe. So Vince sent Kurt Hennig and I left from Tampa, Florida, and flew to New York, got on a plane, the Concorde, and we went to London. Did a press interview. The next day we went to Rotterdam, Holland, did a press interview. Next morning, he took us on a bus to Amsterdam, took us to the airport, flew out there to Munich, Germany, did a press interview. The next day, went to, hey!
Can you hold it down there, please? Got a Q&A going on here.
I don't speak English well anyway. Then we went from there to Milan, Italy the next day, did a press interview. Then the next day we went to Mobile, Alabama to do TV. You checked that one out. But everybody else did it too. So, I mean, it happens in life. But if I was making billions and millions of dollars and was young in the business and didn't want to do it, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan's got enough money, believe me, for the rest of his life. He is loaded. Now, I'm sick. I got enough for the rest of my life, so I don't care. As long as I don't live more than a week.
But the road schedule is absolutely brutal. Gentleman back there.
All the matches that have been created in the past, TLC matches, the Hell in the Cells, the Elimination Chambers, which one of those matches sticks in your head as being the greatest matches?
The greatest gimmick title match, tables, ladders, and chairs. Have they raised the bar too high?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, is that pretty much where you're going with this thing? Yeah. Have they raised the bar too high?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you got to come full circle in wrestling. I think it's got to come full circle because they raise it too high because you can't top what we were even doing in the 70s and 80s, coming off the top rope and doing these splashes. Now they're doing crazy things, and half the guys are getting surgeries or getting injured or breaking their necks. And we got through, you know, and I want to say without a scratch, knock on wood. We're all banged up, but we knew how to work. And I guess you can call it old school. If you don't know old school, you don't know how to work. You just
Don't say without a scratch. Now look at the face of Greg the Hammer.
No, I said no, we're all
okay,
hurt.
please. Turn you over.
Used to be with a move like Jimmy Snuka coming off the top rope.
Yeah.
Spectacular, but they've raised the bar so high now. It's what haven't they seen?
How you doing, Jimmy? All right, brother. It's the only thing you can say is brother. The guy been here for 45 years. You still can't speak.
And he said he was.
Oh, brother.
Jimmy's most famous line in the interview was, "I'm going to kill two birds with one stone."
Yeah. Two stones with one bird.
Excuse me.
Two stones with one bird.
Yeah.
I started getting worried when I started understanding his interviews.
Oh, yeah. You're here, brother.
No, Captain Lou, brother. Anyway, next question. Who has the next question here? Right there. Stand up next to last.
Excuse me, right on my mind. Can I answer one thing? The reason I left the WWF was because of Burnout. My daughter was going to the University of Alabama, and we lived in Florida. And I was working 10 days on, 3 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off. But those days I had off, I was going other places, doing TV, prime time and stuff. And I was burned out. And I just wanted to be home more. And she was going to Alabama, so that's why I left her and went to WCW, because I could work in Georgia and drive up to Alabama once a week and see her. And I only had to work once a week. But I'll tell you the truth, I was making the best money I ever made in my life with Vince McMahon. Had a great contract, had expenses and everything. I was dead. I couldn't enjoy the money I was making or anything. I get home, had 3 days off. The first day home, you don't get home sometime. You finish up in Seattle, you don't get home in Tampa until 4 in the afternoon. Yeah. Then you got to go to cleaners, they're closed. Next day I got to do my stuff, do bills. I got 1 day left, I'm counting it down. It's horrible. It can take its toll on you, it really can. That's why I left WWF.
Right. Thank you, Bobby. Next question.
I'm sorry.
Someone else who hasn't asked. Oh, your question? I knew you looked familiar.
You guys all have a lot of stories and a lot, you go way back and everything. When you were first getting into the business, do you have any special stories you could share with us? Like when you were first breaking in, there were many territories.
Yeah. When I first got paid, they were all telling me you're going to be on TV now. This is 1951. Oh, wait till you see what you get paid. You get at least $500 or what do you call? Or he said, you could be more. You get $700-800. I'm looking for $700-800. I went on TV. I wrestled. I forgot who it was from the Bronx. I got done in Sunnyside Gardens. I came back in the dressing room, and Phil Zacco was there. He used to pay. He puts down 2 10s and a 5. I said, what's that? Get the hell out of here, kid. That's your pay. I said, F you. I thought I was getting robbed. That was $25. And then I had to do it. I don't want to say job. I mean, then I got beat.
Anyone else want to answer the question? But when you formative days, when you first broke in,
When I first started, I was just doing TV in New York, WWF at the time, and I remember one time Gorilla Monsoon called me, and he said, we need you in Baltimore tonight, which, to go to the Baltimore Civic Arena. What did it seat, 12, 13, 14,000?
People, right?
And it was packed. It was packed to the rafters. And I'm working with SD. So the time comes for our match, and I'm like, I'm shitting my pants, excuse me, for lack of a better expression. And SD won't go to the ring. He's playing cards. And if I said, Mr. Jones, it's time for our match. He says, yeah, kid, okay, let me finish this hand. And I'm like dying. He will not go to the ring. Finally, there's like 6 guys yelling, SD, get to the ring. You got to have your match. And he went, and he beat me with that, what'd you beat me with, brother? Headbutt? What else? Beat me with the headbutt, but I was scared to death.
Skull and I was a big game, brother.
Skull was there that night, yeah.
He's shaking. I said, relax, relax.
I was dying.
But the worst thing happened to me there, and these guys will say I'm telling the truth. There's one guy in our business that you don't play with. I told him something funny one night, and I went to the ring, and when I came back, my shoes, beautiful, nice black shoes, was all burnt. I nailed down to the ground. Mr. Fuji.
Fuji.
You don't mess with
What
him.
a Fuji.
Yeah.
The time we played, it was his birthday, and he's buying all the drinks for us in Boston. He called all the guys. He says to me, young guy, don't go up there and take nothing. Don't eat no food until I come. I said, Fuji, I'm hungry, man. We just finished Boston. We're sitting around, I'm hungry. He says, don't touch nothing till I come. Give the guys all the drinks. So the whole time, it's his birthday, so we've been drinking, and he says, take care what I did. He handed the guy $10. He talked to the guy and gave him another $10. So I asked myself, Johnny Woods is laughing, kill. Because Johnny was his crook man. So I said, man, I can't take it no more. I'm going up to eat. I said, okay. I went upstairs. He had all the Chinese up there sitting out. I went up, I took some this, some that. I ate. I said, man, I don't drink something, by the way. I lay down in my bed, man. I'm telling the truth. This is not a lie or a joke. I'm laying down, and I heard from Mark Rivera, amigo, do you have these sheets? No, that's easy. I says, what? When he wake me up, I said, oh, Lord. And I ran to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom all day, go all the way to Portland, Maine, with Mr. Savoli. When I got into the ring, you guess who I'm wrestling? Fuji. When I got inside there, I said, Fuji, please don't slam me, man. He said, no, I won't do that. He picked me up, he dropped me, and he sat on my belly. This is the God truth. Everything came in. Morocco, I swear he is in Hawaii. Morocco get up and says, brother, you don't smell too good. And he walked away, left me. Don't mess with Fuji. That's the guy in control.
I guess that was the first crapshoot match.
That guy was
Lou Albano, you were Lou Albano.
Yeah, okay.
Lou, you were there. 82,
All right, no more
83.
questions?
We were doing promos in Allentown
Right.
in the afternoon. I'm sleeping on the side there. I got a long time till I got an interview, taking a little nap, long day, and all of a sudden I felt my foot was real hot. I was wearing snakeskin boots, a suit, and everything. You were there too? You were there?
No, I just
And all of a sudden I looked down and my foot's on fire. My boots are on fire. Fuji lit me on fire, and I mean that's the kind of ribs he pulled, and I had to lift the boot off before I burned up.
Did that to me?
One of the guys one of the guys had it was itchy or something like that. Fuji gave it to him, but it was like I forgot what you call it. And the guy rubbed it all over. About 10 minutes later, he's going, oh. It was something, the thing turned like fire. The guy ran in the shower, had a shower. Fuji gave him some kind of crap. I don't know how it was.
Itching powder.
Well, it was itchy. Believe me when I said itchy, it was burning. The guy was screaming.
Greg, do you have a story from back then?
Well, I have a story about my father. Remember the wrestling bear? They had the wrestling bear that went all over the place, and he had the muzzle on him. And it was in San Antonio, Texas. And back in the old days, instead of pills and all this kind of thing, the wrestlers would carry around a jar of honey so they'd have quick energy. So my dad just kind of walked by the referee with his hand and a bunch of honey on his hand, and he hit the referee on his butt and wiped it right on the side of his butt, right in the middle of his butt. And he went out there. I guess he was first one out there with the bear in the ring, and the bear attacked him and took him down. Started licking his butt, and the whole fat.
Don't ask Greg Valentine any more questions because we'll be here for 3 weeks. It takes him 4 hours to say the damn words, will you? Measure and recite the Star Spangled Banner or something, forget it. Be here for a week and a half.
Watch how people got into the business in the past few years of Tough Enough. You guys were like beaten to a pulp in training schools, etc. When you see something like Tough Enough and people trying to get into the business like that, what do you think?
I just got to say, I didn't see the wrestlers lead by example that were training them. I just remember Vern Gagne and Billy Robinson said, "We won't make you do anything that we wouldn't do." And Vern was 47 years old at the time. God bless him, he's 78 now. And he did the 500 squats, he did the 500 sit-ups, he did the running up and down the hills. He did everything we did and more, and Billy Robinson. And I just got to say, they led by example, and that's the best way. That's the toughest school I ever went through.
Well,
Anyone else about guys getting in there today?
Well, that Tough Enough, they should have had Ole and Gene Anderson be on that show. Because after they trained the guys and he did all the squats, then they take them in there and just beat the tar out of them.
Yeah, that's their MO. You beat yourself down doing squats, and they beat you up.
Yeah.
You think they're tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next question.
You hear about Ole Anderson the other day?
What's that?
Hear about Ole Anderson the other
I
day?
didn't hear about Ole Anderson.
He walks into a bar in New York with happy hour,
Yes.
and they closed.
Well, that's the truth.
Next question. Gentleman over there. Yeah.
In all your opinions, who is your opinion of the greatest technical worker in the business?
Greatest
/
technical
spot recovery.
Technical worker.
Bob Orton Jr. is up my list.
Bob Orton Jr.
Bob Orton's hell of a job. I guess.
Ricky Steamboat.
Ricky Steamboat. Okay, that's
Ricky's very good too.
For a guy that was a NCAA champion and learned how to really work would be Jack Briscoe.
That's big guy.
Bob Roop.
Jimmy?
Bob Roop, too, the Olympian.
Bob Roop.
I'll tell you who I always enjoyed in the ring with all the matches that we had with the Bulldogs and everybody else was Bret Hart.
Of course.
I thought Bret did a great job
Bret
of
was
that
good.
stuff. You know, he really was. You know.
Classic technical.
He went through the mill with his old man, Stu Hart. Forget about it.
absolutely.
Sorry, old bastard.
Next question.
It's my kid.
Gentleman in the orange shirt.
Now, for all the heels right now in front of you, who do you think is the best heel ever, besides yourself?
The best heel, the best bad guy ever.
Ox Baker. Ox Baker. What a head.
I talk about speakers and talkers. Well, what a great
What a
vocabulary
look.
he has.
Unbelievable.
You guys lost your answer when you say hello.
The Samoans are great heels.
Oh,
Why did he
yeah.
never make it to the WWE aspect? Great heel.
He can't work. He can't work.
Okay.
He's in a big voice.
Great
He's
interview.
ugly. He's an idiot.
But they were-
Hey, I've survived cancer. They have a cure for cancer. There's no cure for being an idiot. He's still an idiot. If you were running a wrestling show, if you were running a wrestling program, a promotion, would you use them?
Would I use
That's what happened at WCW. You have people in charge that don't know what they're doing. They beat Goldberg. They didn't do nothing. They tried to destroy Hogan.
Right.
They put the tag belts on Bagwell and his mother. What's the matter? Was Jar Jar sick that week? And then what did they do? Then they put the belt on David Arquette. Yeah.
That was bad.
Charlie Weaver, Cliff Arquette.
Charlie Weaver, yeah. So, I mean, what was next? A tag match? Soupy Sales and who? I don't know.
But what does that have to do with Ox Baker? There were a lot of guys in the WWE who came in and couldn't work and were stupid, but they were able to market them anyway.
This man is unmarketable. He's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you can print that. I've told him that to his face. The man's an imbecile.
Anyone else?
I never saw him work. I don't know.
No one has.
I just saw his
He
head.
can't work.
He killed the guy.
What a head, though.
Yeah.
Hard to believe it. The guy's a genius.
He jumped
What
out.
I'll tell you, the best heel
Oh,
is
my God. The eyebrows.
I mean, he killed the guy. Yeah, a lot of-
Nobody's seen him work.
Oh, that's okay.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
Yeah, wind down here.
Unless you saw the earlier tapes, because Bundy was down in Memphis with me, but Jerry the King Lawler, brother, I'm just telling you right now, when you see him, he was great.
I tell you, the best heel there ever was in the business.
Okay, would you
No.
please tell us that?
And you're going to have to understand where I'm coming from here. Is Eddie Farhat, the Sheik.
Oh, absolutely.
This man was the first hardcore wrestler. No one threw fire but Eddie. He used sticks, chairs, anything. He never did an interview. He never spoke a word of English. He never turned babyface to heel. He was a heel all the time. I was a kid working in Indianapolis at the Armory. He was my first wrestler that befriended me. He would come when I was selling Cokes and carrying jackets. He terrified me. He scared people. He was a heel. He didn't take big bumps. If he took a bump, he'd be another wrestler. But you paid money to see him take bumps. He didn't go long in matches. Sometimes he would. But boy, he came out, you believed him. This man was a heel. Never talked to anybody. He, in my opinion, was the best heel in the business.
He lived his gimmick 24
And
hours.
another guy-
You go to a party with him, and he wouldn't talk to anyone. He was a
No.
Sheik.
Another guy, the other Sheik, came out, Cosgrove.
The Iron
Sheik that was
The
a
Iron
silver
Sheik.
medalist in the Olympics, so he's a hell of an amateur wrestler.
Yes.
And of course, he wasn't dealing with a full deck either. You know, Bill Malou, I come to America, they all hate. He was a bodyguard for the Shah. They all hate to be here. What should I do? What the hell do you want from me? Who told you to be born over there? Go back to Iraq. Where did you come from? Killed 3,000 of our, Bobby, they blew up 3,000 of our people here, and I'm going to worry about he's from Iraq or wherever the hell he's from. I don't know what to do. Well, come on here.
Freddie Rose, best heel you've ever seen in your business.
You got to put Harley Race in there, Baron von Raschke, guys like that Mad Dog Vachon in their days.
Dog is right, yes.
Yes,
What a
Mad Dog
heel.
Vachon. I mean, when you saw him, when I was a kid, I was like, man, he terrified me, and I was like, this guy's for real. And then you get to know him, and he's the most soft-hearted guy in the world.
And he was a tough bastard, though.
Yeah, he
That
sure
dog
was.
Next question, again, someone who hasn't asked a question yet.
I'm working with him one day at an outdoor show.
Nice and loud.
What are some of the aspects of the state of wrestling today, the things that take place in the ring or out of the ring that bother you, that you see that bother you?
Things that in wrestling today, obviously WWE you're talking about, what bothers you today?
Just kayfabe's out the window.
Kayfabe is out the window, everybody knows what's going on all the time.
Just some of the stuff they're doing for young kids, it's a little too much. Overboard, like what's the name, dropping his pants, having a guy kiss his rear end, and there's a certain thing you can do, but you go a little bit too far. You got 7-year-olds watching it, and I got 14 grandkids. Sometimes I tell them don't even watch it, and I was in the business over 50 years. So who knows? I think they're going a little too far overboard.
The ladies are walking in,
Yeah.
just the panties under
And
them.
they're
I just
dropping
say-
tops and,
And that's- and that-
All girls never did that.
I just think it's too many
And that's
storylines.
just your room.
I think wrestling will sell itself, and I think if they just put the emphasis on world title belts and all the belts instead of all the garbage, all the other garbage.
Now.
Wrestling today, what are the aspects that
I
you
heard
don't
you say you
care
had to
for?
leave.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it's already.
Wow, I'm trying to stay
12:30.
politically correct,
Sure.
so, I was doing the John Boy Billy radio show. I don't know if anybody picks it up or not, but it's kind of a southern thing up in Charlotte or whatever, and I was doing a promo on that a couple of weeks ago, and this guy called in and said, Jimmy Hart, how do you become a professional wrestler now? And I was just kidding around, really, but after it was over, we had so many phones in that say, you're absolutely right. He said, well, you go out and you go to Walmart and you get you a table and a chair. Said then after that, you go get you a black T-shirt, something evil or gothic on the front of it. If you got a bald head, that's cool because that's in now. If you got long hair, wet it down before you go to the ring. Get you some tennis shoes. You don't need the wrestling boots anymore. So then all you got to do after that, before Bobby leaves, I'm going to tell him this. Before you leave, because he was such a great part of our era doing this thing. He's one of the greatest, him and Lou are the greatest managers that ever lived as far as I'm concerned. But jumping over there, I said, once you do that, then you go out and you find yourself a wrestling ring. But also, don't forget, put tattoos all over your body. That helps now, too. But get yourself a wrestling ring. When you do, for God's sakes, don't get in it. That's called a prop. And all you do is you learn how to get on the top rope and dive off onto the table or chair. And in this era, and this years that are coming up, that's how you become a professional wrestler.
And make sure you got all your clothes on.
There you go. And that was great.
I hope everybody knows, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart.
What made everybody on this panel, hopefully back then, is we got to do our own interviews. We got to dress the way we wanted to dress. We had our own characters, and
Our
I think
own
that's what
input.
really helped us back then.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy Hart, I want you folks to know, was not only one of the greatest managers of all time, but years ago was Jimmy Hart and the Gentries.
Yes.
Jimmy and rock and roll.
Keep on dancing, baby. Keep on dancing.
Keep on dancing. Jimmy Hart is a
Keep on
legend
dancing.
in our business and a legend even in the music world.
Has the business gone too far to the office now. Should the wrestlers, the boys, be more in charge? Of the
Yeah, give the boys more money, that's it. I mean, the hell with the office.
Greg, should the boys be, or Bobby, should
No.
the boys be more in charge?
You can't give the boys, you can't make them in charge.
The inmates running the asylum can't do
They'll
it.
kill themselves. You gotta have one guy in charge.
You don't have-
You can't have a committee of bookers. They tried that WCW.
Oh, man, these
Everybody
are
was
getting
stabbing
up.
each other in the back. You gotta have one guy take the glory, one guy take the blame. And that's just the way it is. To tell all these wrestlers, the best advice to give them is just learn to work.
Yeah.
That's it. Forget the shoes and the T-shirts and the shaved heads.
They need to
Learn
take
work.
charge in the ring.
I have to go
That's what it is.
to Ridgeway, New Jersey for a book signing, but I want to thank all you people. Wait. And everybody's talking about money here and travel and this and that. That's not why we stayed in this thing. The main reason we stayed is because you people and because of us people. We enjoyed the dressing rooms. We enjoyed being together. That was our private life. Not the airplanes, not the ring, the dressing
Hold it a
rooms.
minute, Bobby.
And we, yeah.
You told me $10 if I drove you to your next appearance. I'm ready.
Okay.
For $10, I'll take it.
I'll give you 20 to shut up. But no, and thank the boys here, because that's my life, these guys. I mean, you can be with a guy who you don't like, but boy, you have trouble with something, most of them will come to help you. And God bless him, whether he's black, red, brown, or something, this is my friend, he's my friend. I love these guys, I love Lou. And,
Oh, yeah, sure.
No, I do, you know that, and I love the fans. And the money, that didn't keep us in it, was just
I
every
got a
night,
book
it was
signing, too,
the
in the
passion of the
restaurant.
business. Thank you very much.
I got a book signing in the restaurant.
We're all great wrestling fans. Want to thank you all again for being here. From Bundy, Captain Lou, from Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Thank you
right
very
down
much,
the end,
guys.
the main man.
Thanks, Bobby.
All of us together, SD Jones. I want to thank
Make sure you get his book. Get his book.
And also, we got my book out. These guys that play wrestling said you're not an idiot if you watch wrestling.
Jimmy, you're the best,
But
man.
sports entertainment, and anybody there from Bruno Sammartino to Killer
Yeah, I just got it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Come on, guys, I gotta take a leak.
All right, let's go. Captain's gonna move
I
along.
gotta drink water.
Want to hold it down here, guys? We're trying to talk. Thank you.
Shit, Bill, I ain't seen some of these guys in 35, 40 years.
Just tell me if you
Guys, thank you very much for coming out today. Everyone have a good time? Before we start this one, I just want everyone to know the next FanSlam here at the Holiday Inn. It'll be Saturday, July 17th. And check back on the website, fanslamwrestling.com, because I'm going to start taking these all over Philly, Boston, different locations. So be sure to check it out. Once again, thank you everyone very much for coming out. Hope everyone had a good time. And let's take it over to Willie Apter.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful way. Okay, let's first of all, everybody knows who's up here, but let's introduce them formally. For one of the greatest wrestling families in history, without a doubt, David Sammartino. A man from another country, of course. However, he held the WWF Heavyweight Championship of the world. He is the Iron Sheik. Number one. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
Oh my God.
I embarrass you with this. Everybody's favorite technical wrestler in the whole world, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Technically, Bret Hart was better.
Well, there's a lot
There
of
you go.
Huh?
I like that.
Technically, Bret Hart was better.
The wonderful, beautiful, magnificent lady, the fabulous Moolah. People ask me how I lost my hair, it wasn't age, it was that guy, Brutus, the barber BK. Legendary Lalani Kai.
Might as well do it here instead of staying after. Might as well doing it here.
And here's a man who stirred up things in the WWF forever, and now his son is kicking ass there. Cowboy Bob Orton. We'll start off this question and answer with Ricky Steamboat here. You were talking about that Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Was he your technical wrestling hero, so to say?
He was mine. Everybody, you mention all the time, what a technician I was, but hands down, Bret Hart was a much better technician, hands down.
Okay.
It was always a pleasure to watch his work. Always a pleasure.
Okay. Questions. Let's start off with that gentleman over there. Stand up, nice and loud, please.
This is for David. I want to know the whole scoop as far as you and your father falling out and the situation of why you guys don't speak anymore, and his involvement with business as far as you know.
Boy, that make me nervous.
You have to speak loud. This thing doesn't work too well.
Well,
God, this may take the whole session.
Actually, Dave, his dad didn't like it that David was gay, and I can't blame
let's get one thing straight.
him. I'm just kidding you, David.
Oh, I know, that's okay, Paul.
He's a good fellow.
My dad was my hero. I didn't want to become a wrestler if it wasn't for my dad. And I loved my dad very much. But for the truth, I haven't seen or spoken to my dad in 14 years. But that's okay, because you see, life is full of hurt. And you have to hurt and you have to move on. But what my dad taught me, I carry on through life. So it's unfortunate, but that's life. So, as soon as when I was a little kid, 5 years old, and I used to watch my dad pack his bag and put those boots in there, put his tights in there, a towel, and then strap a championship belt over it. That was the most impressive sight to me I ever saw, and I knew from then on that I wanted to be a wrestler. Then David becomes a wrestler and finds out that it's tough. It's tough, and sometimes when it's tough, you get angry and you become outspoken, and no one's willing to play ball with you. And that's the whole thing. But it's been an education.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you, David. Next question, please. Gentleman back there, please stand up.
This is for Ricky Steamboat. At WrestleMania 2, supposedly, instead of fighting Hercules, there's supposed to be a program between you and Bret Hart. How come that never happened?
Did Hercules die?
A week ago. God, that's new news to me. I don't remember any of that what you've said.
Bret said once that you were supposed to work with him in the match, but sometimes Vince changed it or something. I don't know.
That it might have been something just between him and Vince. I knew from the get-go that I was scheduled to wrestle Herc. Ray, who just a lot of passed last week.
Yes.
God bless him. But left behind 6 girls too.
Thought it was 12.
How many?
Thought it was 12.
Family of how many?
12.
12. Well, anyway. But maybe that was a deal just between Bret and Vince. I never got wind of it. I knew I was going to work with Herc on WrestleMania 2.
Okay. Yeah. Willa, what do you think of today's crop of divas? How do they differ from when you were in your prime there?
Darling, I can't hear too good. Talk a little
Oh, I'm sorry. The current crop of divas, of girl wrestlers, how do they compare with lady wrestling when you were in your prime?
Well, there's no comparison, really. But I have to be proud of the ladies that are wrestling now, because they do work out hard and they look nice. But, for real wrestling, you don't see too much of that anymore.
Ronnie, would you like to add something?
I had the same thought I had. There's nothing more I can say, because she just said it all. I think they're great athletes, but back in the days when I was wrestling, it was just so much different, and it's just, to me, it's old school and it's more relaxed, and now it's fast paced now. And sometimes I think, you know, maybe when I was wrestling with the Bomb Angels, you know, I kind of started some of that, you know, all that fast paced wrestling from Japan, and that's what they're doing now. So, but I just liked it back in the 70s and 80s, and I trained at middle school, and we all stuck together, and it never, we always traveled together, and I just enjoyed it better, and it was a better pace, and there was a lot more work out there, and it wasn't just one company, it was different companies, and there was lots of work for everybody.
Is there too much emphasis on the TNA aspect now, you think?
Yes.
I definitely think that the women wrestlers of today are exploited in a different fashion than of the women wrestlers of, you know, Lula and Leilani.
Right.
Whenever two women wrestlers would ever come into Crockett Promotions area, among the guys, one of the major questions was can these girls work?
Right.
It wasn't, you know, what do they look like or how much less are they wearing?
Could they work?
Could they work? That was, right? You know, could these girls work? And if they could work, believe it or not, you'd have a lot of the guys from the locker room go out there behind the curtain and watch him work. You know, it's, you know, you're talking apples and oranges between, you know, the way these girls wrestled and the way the women wrestlers are exploited today.
Okay. Next question, please. This gentleman right over here.
As for Ricky Steamboat, do you consider your match at WrestleMania 3 against Randy Savage your best match ever?
No.
What is?
Why? It was a good match. And I've told this story several times. It was a kind of Randy was a kind of worker that liked to have everything stepped out, you know, planned out at every step, on and on and on and on and on. That's the way he liked it. Matches that I had with Flair, I'd go in the ring and just call it, right? You know, just wing it. And that, to me, shows a more true professional wrestler or worker. Is you know, maybe you get your finish and then you just wing it out there in the ring and end up having, you know, a type of match that night after night after night you end up blowing the roof off the Coliseum and going in with your eyes closed. We're going to go in and listen to these people. We're going to go in and think this out. We're going to feel it out. You know, a little psychology and all that kind of stuff. To answer your question, though, I've had many matches in the Carolinas that the only people that saw it was the people at the house show. Yeah. They weren't televised. They weren't on TV. They weren't on a pay-per-view. You know, matches that Jay Youngblood and myself had as a tag team. You know, and matches. You know, just you're in a little spot show. You know, with 400 people. You know, and you end up burning the house down and blowing the roof off. Many matches that would surpass the match that Savage and I had at WrestleMania 3. And I know everybody thinks that was a great match. And that was a damn good match. But I could go on and on and on with some of the matches that, you know, Georgia, you know. Paul and I campaigned there early on in our careers and had matches that we would think back how we just wrestled in front of 75 people, but would go out there for a half an hour and just, you know, blow the roof off the place. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob Orton.
You.
Your son Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You're very proud of him. What are the positives and negatives when you watch him?
What are the positives and
When
negatives?
you see your son in the ring, what's the best things he does? What does he still need a little fine tuning on?
I think he improves a little bit every week. His moves, what he does out there, is exceptionally good. I think sometimes he doesn't do what he should do when he should do it, but that comes with time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that right now there's anyone his age that's in the same class, but you know, I'm probably biased.
Next question, please. That gentleman over there.
My question is to Ricky Steamboat. It's an understanding you dropped the Intercontinental title to the Honky Tonk Man back in June of '87.
Mm-hmm.
But what most people probably don't realize was you were originally supposed to drop the title to the Natural Butch Reed. What was the reason of the changes of whom you lost the Intercontinental title to? Because I understand you dropped it to the birth of your son.
Yes. December of the previous year, okay, Vince told me, he says, okay, at WrestleMania, you're going to win the belt. I plan to keep it on you for about a year. I told him right then and there that I'm expecting a son in and around the first part of July, and I would like to have 2 weeks off. You know, like maybe the last week of June and the first week of July. I said, I'm on the road 300 and some days a year, which all of us were. I just want to be home during those 2 weeks to hopefully be there. If the timing was working right with me, to be there to watch the birth of my son. And that was December of the previous year of WrestleMania 3, 1985, December, 85, 86, 86. So Vince said, no problem. He says 2 weeks is not, you know, a whole long, you know, a lot of time to keep the belt, you know, out of the picture for 2 weeks. So we went on a schedule, had our match, Savage and I won the belt. And it was, you know, in June, he came up to me on a TV, unannounced, unbeknown to me, no conversation, that why don't you drop the belt to Honky Tonk? You know, I learned later on that Vince had a big, I guess he wanted to put a big push on Honky Tonk. He helped develop the character, in which Vince liked to do, was a big thing in developing the Honky Tonk's ring intro music, the words to the song, had a lot of influence. And I said, you know, no problem, although it was a problem with me. I was told I was going to have it a year, and I ended up having it for maybe 3.5 months. After I dropped the belt to Wayne Ferris, Honky Tonk, after that match, I went up to Vince. I said, you remember those 2 weeks I asked off in end of June, July? He said, yeah. He said, well, I'm just telling you, I'm giving you a notice. I'm taking 6 months off. And I walked out. And then, as you know, on the following WrestleMania, which was the tournament, he showed who Vince McMahon was. And I saw I had Greg Valentine in the first round, and I had Savage the second round. And I thought for sure that I was going to go over Greg in the first round and then just return the favor to Savage in the second round and him go over. Because after all, the WrestleMania previously, he put me over for the belt, right? And I knew, you know, Savage was going to go on and win the tournament. So I said, okay, I'll go over the first round and then put Savage over in the second round. Well, I got beat the first round. I had that 6 month layoff, and I came back, and I, boom, got beat. And so.
Had you trained harder during those 6 months? Next question.
I mean, there's a lot of politics in the business, you know. Yeah.
Sorry.
This question is for Mr. Wonderful.
Nice and loud.
This question is for Mr. Wonderful. What was your most memorable match that you could remember, and which wrestler out there did you have the most respect for?
Myself.
You went both of them?
A party or two.
Exactly. I'll bet that was a hell of a match, too.
Yeah. It was on sale now. The best match. What was it, Paul Orndorff?
The locker room Georgia with the big Van Vader.
Yeah, that was it, brother. You got it, Sheik.
I was there.
You want to tell us about it?
Good
I
call.
was there. I was a good referee, and the big man started, and Mr. Wonderful finished him up. He was ready to cut his head, but myself and Haku, we have to push him back. I said, Paul, you don't want to kill the man. But the big man was his fault because he threw the first punch. Paul took a hell of a bomb. He tore tobacco, he shower sentence Paul down. But the strength comes from Hart, the special German Hart. And then push him up all over the by wall. Get a double leg, take him down. After take him down, 1, 2, 3 kicks. Only 3 kicks, bare feet, with his nose and big T. The big man, his head didn't come up. After that, they take the big man in the locker room, and after half hour he put the ice, and he put a nurse come take care of him, whatever, doctor or nurse. After half hour he had the ice in his nose and teeth, and the big man come back again and tell Paul, oh, you didn't beat me, son of a bitch. He wants to start again, and again was too late. Tell him, sayonara, have a good day.
That's the greatest play-by-play.
This one's for the Sheik. Who was your favorite person to work with in the ring?
Favorite person to work with in the ring?
Actually, all of them. I get most
I get along with all American professional wrestler, but I grew up all my life with the toughest sport in the Olympic, one-on-one individual, freestyle, and Greco-Roman. And I had a lot of good matches with all American boy. I can't complain. None of them. The only one I didn't like him, the big man, under the giant, and he took advantage from some people, and he took a referee. Instead, he dropped him top of my chest, and he dropped top of my nose and teeth. Almost I get killed. I go in the locker room. I tell him, you have any problem with me, big man? Get up, show me. Swear to God, didn't get up. That was the toughest match I had. I was okay after that. But the big man was a little bit no good man. First of all, anywhere we go in the international airport, like Germany, Japan, or John F. Kennedy, the guy is supposed to be the babyface, good guy, and he make $1 million for our business, professional wrestling. And a young lady, young man come to him, ask for autograph. He was so out of the, whatever drinking, French drink he drank or whatever, he was so rude, exactly. He was so rude, and he told the little baby and a wife or mother, no, get out of here. I don't have time to autograph. Since that little man was just like little mouse next to me. I never respect him after that. The only big man I didn't like him. The rest I get long with all American professional wrestling, and I grew up with wrestling since 15 years old, oldest country in the world, national sport, toughest sport in the Olympic, one-on-one, individual, freestyle, and Greco-Roman. And I don't want to say Mr. Ricky Steamboat is my student, or I was his teacher, one of the greatest wrestler I had, Ricky Steamboat, and another my student from Calgary, Bret Hart. I was a trainer, I was a coach, but I'll be honest with you, I respect the most professional boys, coast to coast. Anywhere I go, I get along with all of them, and it's my favorite sport is wrestling.
Who else did you train and coach?
Well, remember Ricky, who was that?
John Nelson, a couple of the guys have passed away.
Yeah, John Nelson.
Scott Irwin.
Scott Irwin passed away. And then another one was Buck
Zumhoff.
Buck Zumhoff. Yes.
Who's heard of Buck Zumhoff?
Right. Yeah, Rackler Buck Zumhoff. Right.
He had more blue boxes than anything.
Oh, man.
And
drink a case of Coke a day, man.
Exactly. And he never get fat. Right. And,
we haven't heard from you yet. You were around the Andre the Giant time. Do you have any stories about Andre that you could
Talking to Beefer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Andre story. We talked about that at the last session too. You must have one.
Let me think. I think one of the most memorable stories was the 747 trip. Coming back from Japan, he couldn't fit in the bathrooms.
So what did you do to relieve
Well,
him?
he didn't go very often either, but he had to go, and they couldn't figure out what to do. They finally roped off the back of the plane in the station, in the sewer station, in the back of the plane, and they strung a garbage bag up in between the counters, literally. And talk about stinking out the plane, brother. He couldn't even get in the bathroom.
And another one was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then after match, usually boys come in the hotel in the Ramada, not too far from airport. And we go in the bar, have a drink, everything. From bar to the hotel, not too far. He fall down in the middle of the parking lot, and then they have to call fire department. They come to take the biggest, the giant of the professional wrestling with the ambulance, take him in his room. That was another embarrassing night that night. I mean, embarrassing for all pro wrestlers, right?
Next question, please. All the way back there. Yes. Nice and loud, please.
That's the guy.
To who? Ricky Steamboat, okay.
Very good.
Just wanted to ask his opinion on the present-day wrestlers such as Stone Cold, The Rock, and Chris Benoit. What are his thoughts on the way they wrestle and basically them?
So thoughts on those three wrestlers?
Well, the three guys that you've mentioned have all come from old school wrestling, okay? And I have the utmost respect for all three. He mentioned Stone Cold, Benoit, and The Rock. You know, and everybody knows that The Rock, his father was Rocky Johnson. And utmost respect, enjoy their work. Worked with Stone Cold many times. As a matter of fact, my last match in my career was with Steve Austin. Hard worker. Doesn't matter how blowed up he was. I don't know if he wasn't even blowed up, but he'd be there on the finish. He'd be there feeding you bumps, you know. He deserved it. Good hard worker, good attitude, you know. Now, if you want to get to some of the newer style guys that are out there that are working, unlike the three guys that you just mentioned, really I look at it this way. You know, it's not the newer guys that are breaking into the business. It's not their fault. They're only doing what they know, and they're only doing what they're taught. And what they're being taught are from the same crop of guys that taught them, unlike the way that the crop of guys that taught us. You know, so you're talking apples and oranges on the teaching of today's sport. You know, we were taught to have a match and think of the psychology of it and listen to it. Today's guys like to go out there with about 8 or 10 high spots and just bump all over the ring and then call it a match. But, you know, really a promoter in these areas could save a lot of money if you would just book 2 guys to go out to the first match and do all the crazy high spots as you would see in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th match, but still just have the same 2 guys do it, because you've seen the first match, you're going to see the rest of the night. You know, and I do give workshop and seminars and try to teach these guys just to slow it down just a tick and to put things in the right places and why you do this at this time and when do you do this at this time, and end up having a match. Let me quickly give you an example. I did a 3-day camp and worked with a guy that's probably been working for about 3 years up in Vermont. He would have go to a show each Saturday or Sunday and work. Probably worked 4 or 5 times a month and been working for 2 or 3 years. End up working with almost the same guy. The guy that he worked with almost every single weekend would put different hoods and masks on. And sometimes he wouldn't wear a mask. So it's the same guy. And he's been working with the same guy for a couple of years. All right. I did a 3-day camp, worked with the kid. He went to a Sunday show, working with the same guy. He went there with the principles of only knowing the finish, the end of the match, and then the rest, we're going to wing it. Of course, his partner is saying, what are you talking about? We've got a great match lined up. We've got our 10 high spots, and we know him like this. He says, no, I want to try this. He had the match. That seminar that I was giving that day on a Sunday was going from 12 in the afternoon to 3. He had to leave at 3 o'clock to make the house show that Sunday night. He called me up at my room that evening and told me that him and his partner have worked with each other for the last 2 years, probably had, I don't know, 75 to 100 of the same match, and they had changed this one up by just going in, knowing the finish, and calling the rest of them, and he said it was the greatest match I ever had. So, you know, it can be done, and a lot of guys get worried about, you know, you got to have this non-stop bump action, you know, throughout the whole match. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. As a matter of fact, it does not have to be that way, definitely. You got to go out there and tell a story. Excuse some of the girls that are in here too, and I say this in my camp. You know, guys, you can go out there and have a match. It's almost like making love. It's almost like having sex. You don't start off and finish it in 5 minutes.
Some of us do.
Well, you try not to. You go out there and in a match and you start off slow, boom, 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 and then you blow it off at the end, right? Yeah. You know, 20, 30-minute match. Right. That's the story that you try to tell. You know,
that means, excuse me, Ricky, is start and portrait and a finish. The rest in between different, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Next question.
It just depends if you're at the rest area or if it's... We're in my band. I understand. Yeah. I'm in there.
Okay. So if you guys could wrestle someone in the main event, current day, WWE, who would the opponent be? David?
Flair.
Ric Flair. Okay. Iron Sheik.
I'm sorry?
If you're in the main event at Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania tomorrow, who would you wrestle? Who would you want to wrestle?
with all of them. Great, in between a great worker and good worker. Great worker can work with anybody, make a good match. Good worker with certain people.
Hogan.
Hogan.
Hogan. Great. We'll come back.
Yeah.
Fabulous Moolah. If a dream match for you at Madison Square Garden with one of the present day ladies, who would it be? You against who?
Wendy Richter.
Wendy Richter. Okay. Brutus?
I don't know, I haven't watched it in so long.
We'll put you against Randy Orton.
There you go. I'd like that.
I guess I'd say Trish, because she tries real hard. You can tell she tries really, really hard. And I know that I could, lead her, and I can, put a little story in there and slow her down a little bit, but I think she's got a lot of potential. I really like her the best.
Okay.
I'd like to work with my son Randy, because he might put me over another mother son.
Right on.
Ricky?
Well, you should. I put him
To
on.
me, because I'm gonna say Rick. I'm gonna say Rick Flair because I worked with the guy probably 1,000 times over the years. But another guy that to me is just a flip of a coin is to have a great match at a moment like this would be with Bret Hart.
Okay. All right, next question, please. This gentleman.
Who would be the toughest of all these? Who would be your most toughest opponent of all time?
Toughest opponent they ever wrestled against?
Yes.
That's a crowbar.
All time. Maybe Hans Schmidt.
Hans Schmidt.
From what I heard of him, or
Randy, who was your actual toughest opponent?
actually.
I mean, what do you mean by that question?
Yeah,
you have a toughest opponent's a tough match is somebody that just won't work with you.
Either or.
You know?
Like your toughest opponent.
The toughest opponent in a shoot situation. In a shoot situation. Is that part of your question too?
In a storyline.
I know all of us have had matches out there that we come back in the locker room and say, "Damn, that was like pulling teeth out there. It was so hard." Couldn't get nothing done.
Got easier street fights.
Yeah, well, I got one for you. George Steele.
George Steele.
Yeah, real hard. Worst I ever had. But he had great matches with my dad. Years ago, they worked great together. But boy, with me, unless I was that awful.
Well, he got tired of putting your dad over. You think he's going to put the son over too?
Oh, it was bad.
Just kidding with you, Dave.
Oh, it's true though.
Next question, the gentleman back there.
Huh? Serious.
George. What's that?
Good guy. Good guy.
Well, I remember you for a long time when you was in the WWF, but now it's the WWE now. So what I'm going to tell you is, that you got a match with Kurt Angle and put him to sleep.
Can you get a match with Kurt Angle and put him to sleep?
No, I would love to.
He can't shave his head, obviously.
Hotter than you. Kurt Angle.
Have you seen Kurt Angle wrestle? What's your opinion of Kurt Angle?
Gold medal.
He's a great wrestler.
Thank you, sir.
Him and Iranian, he rocked, but he was better. He come first, he runs the last one.
Yes.
But Kurt, good. Well, look at his neck.
Look at his neck.
Your favorite WrestleMania match?
How about who's the big guy?
Probably
the big guy.
Alexander Medved or American?
It's the Bulldogs.
Yes, Rock.
And Hammer.
Rock Lesnar.
Lesnar.
Oh,
Lesnar.
yeah, he's okay.
He's supposed to have good amateur background.
He's not.
He was NCAA champion.
Who?
College champion.
Yeah, but not Olympic.
He wouldn't have made it. Watch his name would beat him in a heartbeat.
Red Dragon?
Any road stories you guys
Kurt
have?
Angle?
Anything memorable that you could...
Exactly.
Hello, guys?
Exactly.
Huh? You're asking questions. You're still here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Road stories. Road stories about the days that you guys were breaking in. Anything memorable that you could reveal at this point?
Road stories.
Road stories. You want to clarify that? mischief that they got into on the road? Is that what you're looking for? Yeah, like anything like that, some crazy story from on the road about you and anybody else.
Well, one was another toughest one was Tony Atlas with 22-inch arm, tried to get a smart with the Paul Underoff, bite his head. Another one was
Bit his ear off.
Well,
You bit his ear off.
exactly.
You bit his ear off.
Right.
Piece of his ear or something.
Was that the kind of story you were looking for? You got it. Next question. Gentleman standing right there.
Mr. Sammartino.
Yes.
When was the last time you actively wrestled, and why did you not pursue wrestling at that point?
The last time I wrestled was for Paul Saracelli. And it was for Paul Saracelli in New York 4 years ago. And I could never get booked.
No.
So nobody would use me, so that's why. I mean, I never decided, well, I've had enough, I don't want to wrestle no more. I love wrestling, but nobody would use me.
Do you have a feeling why they would not book you? Do you know why?
Either I was that lousy of a wrestler, or they felt that I was difficult, or they, I gave some negative impression, or they heard something, or I don't know. To this day, I went to WCW. They told me they were going to contract me, and Eric Bischoff, to my face, said this. And they just dropped me, and to this day, I do not know why. Nobody had the courage to tell me why. So, I mean, these are the things that happens in wrestling. I mean, I wish I could talk as fluent as Rick does, but I can't. This is the other side of wrestling. This is where the politics come in. This is where the nasty side of it is, because you have a lot of nasty people that are in it, and it's a great business, but there's a few people that make it bad, So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Hey. When I look back at films of myself, when I was 20-some years old, I thought I was pretty darn good. I thought I was a good worker. People would tell me I was a good worker. But you know what? When I look back at myself, God, I'm embarrassed at how bad I was. And I didn't have the looks of a Ricky Steamboat. I wasn't a good-looking guy. And I didn't have the ruggedness of Paul Orndorff. And I couldn't shoot like, I couldn't take care of myself like Iron Sheik. And but I thought I had something to offer. But when I look back at those old films, I say, wow, boy, I was really bad. Really, I peaked. I thought I got better as I got older, but I really see how bad I was. To be honest, I'm honest. So.
I'm gonna have a heat stroke if we don't open this. Then I'm dead serious.
Well, I know I'm burning.
It's ridiculous.
We got windows that open up or anything?
No. For jumping here.
Open the
Is there a way
doors.
to get the air conditioning on?
You open doors.
The air conditioner is on?
I can, pop open a few doors.
See, you figured there's a lot of fans here. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even said that. David, if WWE called you tomorrow and said, hey, we're going to contract them, would you do it?
Yeah, I don't know what I could offer to WWE. I mean, I could not fit in to what they are now. Okay, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to fit in.
Okay, you're old school, and that's.
And I couldn't do it. My God, I couldn't keep up with what they do today.
Okay. Next question, please. That gentleman here. Nice and loud, please.
All right, I know that there was a lot of problems in the World Wrestling Council. I'd like to ask the Sheik, how did he like working matches against Carlitos Colon, and how was it like working with the Invader 1?
Working with Carlos Colon and Invader number 1.
But that was a different country, Puerto Rico, and I'm just, like I said, I'm a cosmopolitan, I wrestling around the world. I go different country, I try to get along with that champion or his booker, because it's different world, different country. But I get along with them. I wrestling 17 years back and forth Puerto Rico. Kill one of the wrestler, Bruiser Brody. After that, we don't want to go wrestling for killer promoter. So completely that territory changed. But I had a good match with both of them. I didn't have a problem. But after they killed the Bruiser Brody, completely everything changed.
Okay. Thank you. Next question, please.
Right, bro?
I would like
Very
to
good.
know from everyone in your point of perspective, who's the toughest wrestler as far as injuries and crazy stunts and stuff like that? Who do you think is the toughest as far as that?
When you say the toughest, meaning?
As in, like, as far as going through injuries and, you know what I mean?
Mick Foley.
Going through injuries.
Yeah, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, bar none.
Mick Foley. Okay. All agree? Mick Foley.
Absolutely. Hard worker.
He started all that.
Yes, yes, he did.
Cables flying, dropping from the top of the cage, all the, you know, just
Through the tables.
through the, you know.
Yeah, but let me say something about that too. Mick Foley, I'm not impressed one bit by Mick Foley, okay? To me, wrestling used to be an art. There used to be a way to do things. That to me, with what he does, with the things that I've seen on TV, with him, what kind of a great worker is that to put all that damage on your body? Promoters get a kick out of that. Oh, hey, you want to do? Oh, sure, let him go, let him go do that. Yeah, let him fly off the cage, let him go through things. No, I think it takes an idiot to do something like that. This guy, I've heard people praise him up and down. He may be a good guy. I don't know him, but I think this guy is being labeled a good worker is a bunch of baloney. I think he's very lucky, and I think, you know what I think? I think Vince McMahon took this guy and said, for all the other guys that maybe that are retired, this is like a little machine that's going to show everybody that I can take anybody and make them. And you had a guy that was willing to do all this stuff, to mutilate himself, to do crazy things, not to care about his body at all. And so I don't think he's anything of a good worker. Let him go in there and work a match for an hour with one of these guys, or matches that you had with Flair. That's a worker. That's a guy that works. That's a guy that brings the art of professional wrestling out. Not a guy that does all kind of stupid things that puts a million thumbtacks in his back. And I mean, I can't even think right now of all the goofy things that he's done, and that's a bad influence on all the kids watching. This guy started all the crap of the backyard wrestling with all those kids getting hurt because they see what they express everything that they see on TV. So no, this guy's no hero to me,
Excuse me. And absolutely, David Sammartino is right, because the stuff that people does, and they get up and walk around, no blade, no any mark, the people must be think, one of these guys have to be Superman, or wrestling is a phony. Make sense?
Yeah. You're right. Anyone else here want to add to that at all?
Well, since I brought his name up, I guess I should say something. With the time that Mick started doing that, nobody else did it.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, Nick took what he had and he made the most out of it. And all of a sudden, some bitch is making millions of dollars, and you can say what you want to, but he worked his ass off. There ain't no two ways about it.
Yeah.
I got nothing but respect for him. Now, what he did, would I do it? No effing way. But Mick Foley took that and made himself millions. So what in the hell are you going to knock the guy for? Because he's smart enough to do something nobody else could do? One thing that I do not like, though, is he's the one who started all the shit where everybody's getting hurt. So you can look at it two different ways. But no, I got nothing but respect for the man, because he did things when people told him, no, you can't do this. Shit, he went to the top, baby, and I respect him for that.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you something else, too. He didn't hurt nobody else getting there.
Okay.
My question is for Moolah. Moolah, I'd like to know who broke you into the business, and who are some of the gals that you broke into the business?
Okay, I was married to Johnny Long first, and he started teaching me wrestling. He was in North Carolina working with Jim Crockett when we got married. And he'd take me up to Charlotte and work me out. And finally, at that time, there was only one person that booked lady wrestlers, and that was Billy Wolf in Missouri. And Johnny told me, excuse me, if you want to be a wrestler and bound to be that, that's the only place to go, because you can't get booked anywhere else. So I said, okay, I'll try it. I went to Billy Wolf, and there was Mae Young and June Byers and Teresa Thies, Mildred Burke, and all that group of girls were there at that time. And it was kind of rough for me because I was small. I was like 120 pounds at that time, and the others were close to 200, all big girls. So I had a rough time of it, and finally I got enough of it. Came back home, and then I started my own school, and I more or less taught myself. With the help of Mae Young, she helped me out when I was over there with Billy Wolf, and Juanita Kaufman, and that was it.
And who are some of the gals that you broke in yourself?
That I broke in?
Yeah.
Well, one that I'm real proud of, Leilani Kai. And, well, you know, can I say it this way? All of the good girls I broke them in. Okay. So Ann Casey, Leilani Kai, Judy Martin, Judy Grable, Joyce Grable, Donna Cristantello, Tony Rose. I could go on and on.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, Mae Young celebrated her 81st birthday yesterday, I believe. Yes. Next question, please. Go back there. Nice and loud, please.
My question is for Ricky Steamboat. I had heard a story that Dick the Snake Roberts had given you the DDT and he hurt you really bad. I want to know if that's true, and if it is true, can you elaborate?
Is it a question, did he hurt me on purpose?
Yes. Did he
No.
hurt you on purpose? And
No, that was.
What happened? What was the story? What was really supposed to go down?
That was just a move that happened to be a mistake when it happened, you know.
What actually happened to you? Were you like, did he knock
He's
you out
well.
unconscious?
I think if my memory serves me right. He attacks me before the match even starts, pulls the mats away from the ring that we're on the floor, and the picture that he wants to paint is he's going to DDT me on the cement floor. And of course, all you guys know we had those cushioned mats around there. Well, to make it a little bit more exciting, and especially with the commentary picking it up, you know, oh my God, look, he's moving away the mats. And he gave me a DDT. Well, it just, I don't know if there was a slip or, you know, I've worked with Jake many years before he came to the WWF. And in with Crockett Promotion in the Carolinas, had some great matches. And a great guy. But my forehead hit the cement floor, and I almost got some kind of a concussion from it. Got a lot of water that settled on my forehead. I mean, it was bubbled out. And in a situation like that, they just took advantage of it, took some pictures of it, and the word got around that Jake tried to do it to me on purpose. And I know him, and that's not true. But, yeah.
What about other injuries that have happened to you guys and ladies in the ring? Something like that, where it was something not intentional. Anybody else care to talk about that? Iron Sheik? Anything like that happened to you? An unintentional injury?
Not really, except car accident I had. I get hurt.
Oh, car accident. All right. Paul Orndorff. Any unintentional injury?
You got clotheslined by Hogan in your neck. What did? Was that turnbuckle clothesline or something?
Yeah, sort of.
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, that was the beginning of it.
The nerve damage there. Yeah.
Nerve damage to your neck from a Hulk Hogan clothesline?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other?
I never gotten hurt.
Okay.
I learned my bumps first thing, and that's the hardest thing to learn. Once you learn that, everything else came easy to me. But I never got hurt one time, just sore. I've never been injured or been to hospital for anything.
I remember,
was just fortunate.
Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Yes, of course.
Gave me a backbreaker, but didn't bring me down on my hip. Brought me down to my ribs. I cracked a couple ribs. I remember standing on the apron in the Richmond Coliseum. It was myself and Youngblood against the Briscoe brothers, and I had forgotten that Jack was a lefty. And Youngblood was working him back towards the corner, and you have an eye-to-eye contact with your partner out there in the ring, and you know what's going to happen. Well, what was going to happen is that Jack is backing up, and he's going to turn around and hit me off the corner, off the apron, and then go back to Youngblood, right? Well, when your guy throws you're so used to guy throwing rights at you, and you move your head in a way where you just feel that fist just go by you, just graze you, just. Well, when he spun around to throw a fist, and I automatically went the wrong direction with my face, I caught a left right in the man, knocked my ass off the apron. I mean, but that was my fault, that was. Yeah, Jack's going around. Damn, my head! The young guy's standing there looking down me over the ring, and my nose is bleeding and everything. I caught a left. It just moved the wrong way.
Next question, please. Right here.
This is right from Bob Orton or actually anybody. How did you guys feel about Mr. T working the main event of WrestleMania 1?
How do you feel about Mr. T working in the main event of WrestleMania 1? Paul Orton.
Huh?
Mr. T working the main event of WrestleMania 1. What was your feeling about that when they brought Mr. T in?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Why? Were they upstaging the people who
No.
got the business today? Or?
No, you could just put anybody in there. They can teach them how to do it. Bullshit. Probably Bobby's the same way. You'll never hear anything good that bringing all these celebrities on and everything. For me, I didn't like it.
Did it grab the attention, though, of the general public?
I don't know if it did or not.
Okay. Any other comments? Bob?
I don't know, you just learn to live with that stuff.
Okay.
And,
Next question. Back there. Black shirt.
This is for Paul Orndorff. What were your feelings on when WCW brought you back on TV in 2000 with the match of Orton and Thrillers? Did you like that? Or?
No, I should have never done it.
Why?
Wouldn't have broke my nest two more times. Bad.
Yes. Right there. Yes.
This question is for Bob Orton and Paul Orndorff. I was wondering if you could tell me what it was like working with Roddy Piper.
What it was like working with Roddy Piper.
Oh, I thought it was a blast. I mean, I had more fun. My God, we had fans trying to turn my car over with us in it, and I mean, it was just great.
Paul?
All right.
All right.
Not my style of as far as you mean working against him or with him.
Your question was?
Either way, working with him or working with him.
Well, just being around Roddy Piper.
Being around.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, well, that was great, but my style and his style don't match. I mean, I could still do it, but...
That's why he left me in there with you all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Right here.
Bruce, could you shed some light on your accident you had back in '91?
The parasailing accident back in '91. Could you shed some light on it?
Yeah. I got struck in the face by a person being pulled by a boat about 35 miles an hour. Totally disintegrated my facial structure, broke my palate. Yeah, the girl's knees hit me. She was my harness. I have 8 titanium strips, 32 screws, probably about 100 feet of stainless steel wire in my face permanently. And I underwent about 17 hours of surgery, one surgery. A doctor from Armenia and a whole team of doctors. It took like 4 or 5 teams of doctors all set up to do this, and this one guy coordinated this whole thing. And it just happened to be, it's a miracle that I'm alive, first of all, because had this guy not been right in the same town where the accident happened and been able to put this all together, God only knows what would have happened to me, where I would be now. And I was able to, through the grace of God, make a miraculous recovery that no one ever would have believed that was possible. The amount of surgery that was done on me had never been performed on a human that lived, because they didn't expect me to survive the surgery. And I was blind. I had possibly could have had brain damage. My palate was broken. My face was just so shattered. They'd never put anybody back together that was alive. And it was a total experimental operation, basically. And the guy operated on me with a microscope on his head, basically, and putting all this bone, reconstructing my whole face, eye orbits. Had my jaws wired shut for 4 months.
Take your face off.
They peeled my face completely off in this operation, and then
laid it in your chest,
repaired everything. and then put it all back, and you know, it's a miracle.
Well, we're all glad you're here with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
My question is for the Iron Sheik. When the night you dropped the title to Hogan, I heard that Nick Bachman proposed he would try to pay you to, injure Hogan or break his legs or something like that?
No, it was not. Nick Buckwinkle was a promoter of the Minnesota. I started over there was Mr. Vurgania. Because Mr. Hulk Hogan was Minnesota, and they bring him to the Big Apple, and then Hogan come the biggest star in the world. But the promoter before I lose my belt to Hulk Hogan, and he offered me $100,000, break his leg, take the belt to Minnesota. But WWF was nice to me, and I had my first break in the Big Apple. And I'm a religious man. The hand fit me. I don't cut that hand, so I didn't go.
Okay. Next question.
Very good.
Question yet?
Very good.
Can you stand up?
You did the right thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Besides Flair, what are some of the wrestlers you've had a good work match with? And of the superstars today, which do you consider to be the best workers in the business?
Any of you guys heard of Don Cornudo?
Sure.
Yes.
Had some great matches with Don.
Yeah, from
Middle-
Charlotte.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Charlotte, the middle of the road guy. Crockett never would have believed that he could be main event. Did jobs on TV for years and became a star in that region. Great, hard-working, good-natured guy, And I can't. Don Cornudo. I just saw him about 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you guys, he's about 350 pounds now.
He have a restaurant, I heard, right? He opened some bar.
He on a car lot.
Remember that match he had on the Park Avenue Atrium in New York City? Remember? With all the people in the ties around, how hard we had to work about 25 minutes. Not a sound. I mean, but by the end of the match, the people started getting into it at first, but everybody stood there watching us. I got it on tape. Oh my God! The shape.
Where was that? Park Avenue, the Atrium.
Park Avenue, Atrium.
You
know what that was, Bill?
People sitting around ringside with ties on.
It was a promotion for Wrestlemania or something. They were just promoting, and they had me and Rick.
Beefcaking us myself.
We did about 25 minutes of just nonstop going at it, but there's no. The people weren't fans who were watching.
They weren't wrestling.
They were just the office personnel and the people that were there. So it was tough, but it was a good match. I watched it back. I was surprised how hard we worked, and then by the end of the match, the people finally were getting into it. But it was a difficult situation. Yeah, for people who didn't like wrestling.
But I need to answer. He was some of the superstars today. A lot of the guys of today do great stuff. A lot of the stuff that was off the top rope, Jimmy Snuka and myself, we just started with simple stuff off the top, and now these guys have taken it to another level. Is there any superstars now? I mean, if Steve Austin's still in there, and of course Benoit, those guys that came along towards the middle of our era, but the modern day guys today that does the fantastic stuff, I don't think I could want to go out there and work with them. They do stuff that is so remarkable and it'll look like it would kill them, and then 20 seconds later they're out, running the ropes or something, and that big bump that they took off the third floor ends up not meaning a damn thing. It's not meaning a damn thing. Because you see him, I saw this one guy, what was he? He's on the, set something up, boom, sets the guy up in the table, climbs to the top of the turnbuckle, does a big dive, they both go crashing through the tables, right? Guess who got up and was the first guy back in the ring? The guy that was laying on the table. Yeah. He's the one selling his ass off, hurt real bad. The other guy gets on top, jumps off on him. This guy that received that blow, that got drove down through a table, beat the other guy into the ring, and then the second guy gets in. They're doing crisscrosses. What did that bump mean? See, that's where I have a problem, and the guys can, they do all this fantastic stuff, they just don't know where to implement it. They do it in the first 2 minutes of the match. They shoot their load in the first 2 minutes, the rest of the shits.
We asked this question earlier today. Let's ask everyone here. Has the bar been raised too high? What's next? Is there anything left in a specialty?
Yeah, guys
match?
go out there with chainsaws and cut each other's heads off.
Okay. All right. Somebody call Vince.
Yes. To follow up on what you were saying, the things that they're doing now, is that what the fans want? Or if you take it back and slow it down and tell a story and make that bump mean something, that last bump, make it mean something, will the fans still cheer?
What do you want when you go to the matches?
I'm old school. I like the old school,
Okay.
like Steamboat. But I can see where a lot of fans would like the stuff that they're doing now. But I like the old school, tell a story, make it mean something.
Okay.
I would love to be a heel right now.
Why?
I'd be a billionaire.
To answer your question, it can be done.
Billionaire.
I think it can be done.
I know it can be. But
If
they
you
have no
don't,
right to do it.
of course you're going to have your hardcore
Fans are going to they're going to ride your ass. Boring. But you're going to ride. And a lot of times when that happens during the course of a match, the two guys in the match, they get excited and say, "Oh shit, we got to get up and do something," because there's, they're letting the fans dictate their match. Screw it. And that's what I teach and screw it. You sit there and don't just sit there like this. If you got a headlock, work it. If you got an arm, work it. If you got a leg, work it. Show them that you're doing something. Just don't sit there like you're not doing anything. That's even boring to us guys that are watching, okay? But continue to work. Don't get up and just for the sake of you hear boring that all of a sudden you're going to throw in 5 or 6 high spots in a spot just because somebody out there is saying boring. Screw them. You work your match. You grind it out. And if it's done right, you'll have them standing on the edge of this. They'll be standing up, going crazy by the last 2 minutes of the match.
Which is how you work.
We're wrestling right now. It's going to be a long time before it gets any better, in my opinion, because they have nobody that can go out and work a match. Nobody. Now Chris could, but who's he going to work with? You got nobody to work with. Like you said earlier, you got to have two to tango, and you got to have the right people.
Okay.
If you had a Bob Orton and a Steamboat and Sheik and some of these guys up here now, if we were to work against each other, baby heel deal, we'd get over better than anything right now. I pay 100%.
You know the fan today has changed?
The work has changed. The fan will, no matter what, that fan will still get into that match. And what's happening too is that the fans are left out of the matches now. We played off the fans. That's why everything we used to do was so, it's like a football play. When that hole opens, you got to hit it. You don't wait 10 seconds to hit the hole. You got to hit it then. It's got to be spontaneous. It's not there no more. And that's what's hurting it. They don't have anybody to set up a match in the dressing room. Makes me puke.
You watch,
it's sad.
To give an example, like Paul's saying, in the course of a match, a heel does something to the face, right? And the face is selling. And just as that heel's getting ready to do something to that baby face, somebody may say something out of the stands. What is that heel? He'll stop and acknowledge him, right? And he'll go to him, walk over to the ropes and say something. Shut up and sit down, and then get back to work. Today, that person would not stop and acknowledge that. Why? Because in his mind, he's worried about the next high spot that's got to come about. So the action keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You've seen one bump, you've seen one match. Through the whole rest of the card of that night, you've seen the same thing over and over and over and over again. But it's just like the same thing in a babyface comeback. When he starts to show that fire and get up and starts getting up on his feet, he hears that crowd. You can hear, right? He acknowledges that, and the next thing you know, the fans they're thrown into that match. You could see him. I've watched him 100 times to where every time you threw a punch, they were throwing one with you. Boom, boom, the whole front row swinging. And every time you got hit, they're all doing this. They're not doing that now. Like Paula said, they've been completely eliminated.
And they're pissed off because they have been. That's why. If they're hollering and anything, it's because they're now keep bringing themselves into the mix of it. You're taking their emotions out. That's the whole idea, man. That's the whole deal.
Hold up a sign, Paul, so the camera might show you on there.
I'll never forget it. Bob Orton's father, I'll never forget it when I was just starting. He said, remember this, you keep make all the eyes, you make everybody be watching you. You never forgot it. As a heel, you make everybody look at you. And that's what I tried to do. If our babyface didn't have his shit together, he'd be in a lot of trouble. One way or the other.
So,
Good afternoon. Is there any one thing, if you could get WWE roster together, if you could get all the young guys on the indie circuit, if you could, through some absurd method of technology, be able to convey one thing to all of these people who are trying to make it, who have already made it, or trying to make it to the next level, what is that one thing you would offer to the youth in our business?
There isn't one thing, Cat. What could one thing do? For me, it ain't.
Everything's been done.
So there's no message really out there that, hey, this would help fix whatever this is. Is that what you were asking?
He's asking for the one, the one miracle.
Through
the one wish.
It depends on what aspect of work you're talking about.
I guess what I'm saying is,
You're talking about people getting injured, or you talking about injuries? You talking about high spots? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the one thing that you've learned and held to, like Mr. Orndorff just said, the one thing you never forget that he got from your father. That one thing that he remembered, never forgotten, that he implemented in all his matches. Is there one thing that you experienced that you hold fast to that you would use to pass on to the next person?
Well, they can only see it, and they can't feel it, and I don't want to feel it either. And if I do, I'll slap the shit out of you. And that's what I used to tell them. And I never felt nothing.
Next question, please, this gentleman right here.
This is for the Iron Sheik. Sheik, the night that you won the title from Bob Backlund, did you guys know going in that you were going to win the belt? Because there are conflicting reports that it was Vince trying to get the belt off him, to get to you, to get to Hogan.
Were they throwing the towel in?
Yeah, did you know that that's how the match was going to end, throwing the towel? Did you and Bob know that, or was that just them doing it on their own?
I'm sorry, no comment for that.
Okay.
No comment.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
Next question, please. I guess someone who hasn't asked a question. You have it. Okay. Did you have your hand up?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go to you. We'll get to you
cooler now, don't you?
Okay, well, you said that. We'll get to you now.
For all the panel,
really?
who are your biggest influences of getting into the business? Who
Biggest
influenced you
influences?
the most?
Who, me?
For all of
Everyone.
us.
Oh.
Biggest influence getting into the business.
My dad and superstar Billy Graham.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
The biggest influence to go into the business. Your influence, your hero who made you saw this person.
Well, I was a coach for University of Minnesota 5 years for freestyle and Greco-Roman. And I used to watch wrestling from after Olympic, and I found out all drive Mercedes-Benz, I drive nice car, and they are all professional. So plus, I come to America for wrestling, freestyle, Greco-Roman. Olympic coach, Mr. Alan Rice, invited me to Minnesota. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't make any big money in the portfolio. I mean, I was coach for University of Minnesota. I saw Nick Bockwinkel, Ray Stevens, all the biggest stars, drive Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz. I said, well, I was will I go professional wrestling? Someday I'll be like that. So Mr. Gania, promoter of the Minnesota after Olympic Munich, Germany, 72, I come back to Minnesota and they invite me the pro wrestler. And I like it since that. I mean.
So your inspiration was the AWA guys and the
That day.
and the big cars.
That days before I come pro, yeah, it was Minnesota. I mean, Wurungaria. Right, Rick?
Yes.
He was there.
I played football all my life, and I was drafted by the Saints, and then I went to Chicago for a while, and after that, I wanted to do something, and I'm from Tampa, and I was watching the wrestling on Tampa for some reason or another. I wasn't really a fan at all. Didn't really watch it, I was on the move so much I wouldn't stay in one place long enough to watch a show. And I happened to be watching that, and I looked at that, and I saw Bob Orton, I saw Steve Kern, Mike Graham, and Dick Slater. And buddy, when I saw them out there, and I watched it, and I watched it, and I looked at it, and I said, I'm going to do that. My father-in-law knew the bank, well, he knew the bank president, but the bank president knew Eddie Graham. And one thing led to another, and I had a trial. And I tried out with Bob Roop, Bob Backlund, Briscoe, and Hiro Masuda. Now, after I'd already did all these Hindus, and I'd done all this and that inside of the Sportatorium, worse than this in here, y'all. Worse. And the building was half the size, almost. I mean, for where the ring and stuff was, wasn't much at all. So I was in good shape, and I had the right attitude, you know. I liked this rough and tough stuff, so they're right up my alley. But the problem was I'd wrestle one for 5 minutes and wrestle the other one with me. I never got a break. And by the time Hero got to me, he got me there some. Anyway, I hate to say this, but I said, I'm going to get Hero one of these days. Because he kept asking me coming back. Keep coming back. So, that's what I did.
Okay, Ricky,
I won't say what the other had.
Yeah, they did me the same way.
Your influence, your inspiration.
Same guys.
I grew up in Florida too. Eddie Graham for his toughness and watching the matches that he was in, with Malenko and those Russian chain matches, the toughness, that type of toughness. And brother, they were stiff with each other. I mean, stiff. And then a young rising star at that time also was Jack Briscoe, in the early 70s. Yeah.
My personal favorite. Moolah, your inspiration for getting into this business, your influence.
I can't hear you.
Your inspiration made you be a wrestler.
Well, that's easy. I had 12 brothers.
Oh, yeah. You had to beat them all up.
I had 12 brothers. They were all older than me. I was the only girl in the baby.
I'm just leaning back.
But I stuck with them just like glue. They thought I was another boy because they didn't scare me at all.
Right.
And I just... my mom passed away when I was 8 years old. My dad, he started trying to find things that would interest me. And he started going to the wrestling matches, and I started going with him. And first time I saw a wrestling match, I said, that's what I'm going to be.
Was there one particular person you saw that...
I beg your pardon?
Was there one particular person that you saw that you could pinpoint?
No, this was in Columbia at the Township
Okay, so it was just a general match.
Professional,
So that was it.
And anyway, this went on and on. I kept telling my dad, I want to be a wrestler. He said, oh, sure, I know you do. Because I was so tiny, Anyway, I started watching a wrestling match and got interested. And Mildred Burke came to town, and that's when I really fell for it.
Right, so Mildred Burke was your inspiration.
She was a champion at that time.
Brutus, your inspiration for getting into the business?
I grew up in Tampa watching the same guys they all did. A lot of those guys all went to the high school I went to. So Hulk Hogan did too. And Hulk sort of broke in with all those same guys they're talking about. And they had broke his ankle the first week he was in there. And so he had to take time off. But he finished the school, but never really got a break there. And he kind of tricked me into going on the road with him and said, you're going to be a wrestler, kid. I go, oh, man, I loved watching it, but I never thought in my wildest imagination that I would be getting into it. But then it started, after I started training and put a 2 years of lifting weights and gaining weight and training, started the training and went through it for a year, for time after time, and then got in the ring that first time. I fell in love with it, And
So Hulk Hogan actually was your inspiration for getting into there. Lilani Kai.
Well, same with me, like everybody else, Tampa. I went to Chamberlain High School at 16, and the Briscoe brothers and Bob Roop was my favorite, and they did a seminar there, and they gave out pictures and just talked about, the wrestling they were having there at the Armory, and I went one night and just fell for it, and I saw Bonnie Watson and a lady named Sherry Lee. And that was it. I mean, I just started, digging into it. So.
Your inspiration, was it your dad?
Well, yeah, Dad took me to the matches when I was just a little kid, and I knew all those guys, and God, it was great. Then I got into high school wrestling, and I was great. So there was just one more step, and I loved it.
So you follow. Okay, next question, please. All the way back there. Don't turn around, it's you. Rick, question for you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's the longest match you ever worked?
90 minutes. Claire.
Where was that?
Greensboro.
Greensboro, okay. All right, next question. Right there.
Hour and a half.
Yes. Could you speak up, please?
This question is for all the wrestlers.
I would have died.
Your opinion on Vince McMahon.
Your opinion on Vince McMahon on the whole panel. Okay, David?
Oh, he's a smart businessman.
Would you hold this?
Well, he's a successful businessman. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's with the times, and I guess he learned a lot from his dad. The product's there, the results are there, right?
Archie, your opinion of Vince McMahon?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I started at Minnesota. For 1 year, I drive the truck. I put on the ring, pick up the ring after 10 gold medal, AAU, All-America, World Games. But I get a break in WWF. I cannot knock down Mr. McMahon or Hogan or anyone. I think it's still, to me, is a intelligent man, and he's a businessman, and his territory is number one in the world.
Okay. Well, that won't reach, so.
He didn't mean nothing but good. And we used to say, he was the best of both evils, however you want to take that at the time. But he was fair to me. Never done me. Didn't mean nothing but good.
When I went to the WWF and WrestleMania 1 and all that, and everybody was standing back watching this man take the business to another level. At that time, I could actually sit back and agree with this new level that he was bringing to the public. But over the years, if you didn't figure into his clique, he could slowly rub you out. He could slowly destroy families. He could almost get away with murder. I didn't figure into his clique. I always thought that my ability in the ring could keep me at the status of where I always wanted to be in a main event caliber. I left and went to WCW and came back with the promise of a main event spot, and almost a year later I'm still doing opening matches for Vince McMahon. Even after being an Intercontinental Champion and even after being a NWA World Champion, I came back with the promise of a main event spot and did opening matches. And got a lot of heat from the boys because the matches that Haku and I were having on the opening show, the rest of the crew couldn't follow, and we got heat for it. But I think, who gives a damn? I'm going to go out there and do my job and do my work, because what I always loved the most in the business is what I could do in the ring, and nobody could take that away from me. I hated the traveling, I hated the politics, and all this and all that, and the backstabbing and this and that, but they could never take away what I could do in the ring, because that was my time. That was my time, and nobody could steal that. And once I had a partner that was working with me, or he felt that he's going to have a good match and learn night after night after night, it became our time. And so I came back and worked almost a whole year opening the show You know, and everybody, and the fans were sitting out, God, it's Rick Steamboat doing the opening match, you know. And then getting a lot of heat from the guys because they were saying, God, why do you guys have to go out there and that's just me, I'm sorry. So that would get back, okay? That kind of heat would get back. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that Vince McMahon set them for the rest of their lives, both materialistically and their career. And I have nothing against those guys and what they have to say about them. The question was asked to the panel, the spotlight came to me, and I gave you my answers to how I feel about them. I just wouldn't kiss his ass, and I just try to rely on my ability in the ring to keep me in that spot, and bottom line, guys, it didn't work.
I need to add something to what the man, too. I just thought of it. You know, two people really killed this business to where it is now. And that was Hogan and McMahon. When they went on TV and smartened all you up, it's been the downfall ever since. That's right. Now look at it. It's doing bad. Regardless of what you're seeing out there, it's a shit.
I don't even feel comfortable using wrestling terms that everybody's using.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Oh, that's the way it is now. I know, but it's very uncomfortable.
And we weren't trying to insult your intelligence, but would you really want to know if your mama's a whore? I don't know about you. I wouldn't want to know.
Gosh, takes the fun out of it.
That's right.
Any other answers here regarding feelings toward Vince McMahon? Okay, next question. This is our final question of the day. And yes.
Good panel. Expanding on Vince McMahon.
Can you speak up, please?
Yes, this is for the entire panel about Vince McMahon. What do you think about him being on air as a character? Do you think that hurt the business at all, or do you think that
Good question. Vince McMahon on the air as a character. Positive, negative?
You mean as a wrestler?
Well, as he comes in with the suit and as the owner.
He always wanted to be a wrestler. He always wanted to be
Sure.
a wrestler, but his dad wouldn't let him.
Right.
So I guess now he's fulfilling that. Right?
So do you think that's a positive or a negative thing for the business today?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. You know, it's he's living a dream. You know, he originally wanted to be a wrestler. I know that much. His father wouldn't let him. Right. So now he's so successful that he can insert himself in there and have a good time. So
okay.
I'll tell you, the only thing that could happen to it now, that if Fox, what's the name of that guy, Murdoch? The only way that this business will ever be anything is if you got competition. If you ain't got competition, and there is no competition, and there's nobody out there wants to touch us, that would have the money that it would take to overcome him. Well, it's Rufus Murdoch, or whoever that guy is that owns Fox, that'd be the only way, in my opinion, that somebody could get there equal-weighted. It has either that or one of the sheiks over here in the desert that's got $500 to $100,000 billion.
An iron sheik.
You know what I mean? That's what it would take. Millions.
You know, I don't know about you guys, but I never thought a boss man should work. I mean, fulfill his dream and maybe get in the ring and try it for a little while and say, okay, I did it now, the rest is up to you guys. But you know, when he's out there spotlighting himself consistently, and then one of the pay-per-view matches on the night card is him against his daughter.
Oh yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, he's probably got two hands that can really work, sitting at home, and he's got him against his daughter. Sorry, guys.
I forgot
Sorry.
about that.
Well, they're insulting your intelligence.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for being here today.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And probably got two guys sitting at home, right?